I'm.
I still. Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna check my own sub
Yep.
tab here. Do my
Yep.
own investigations and research.
Uh,
Yeah, we're live.
word. We finally did it. No
It says
more.
we're live, but I don't have the ability to access the video, so that's weird.
Yeah. I'm same
All right. For some reason, Chuck, you're coming in kind of broken up.
here. I
There we go. Yeah. What? Now, I think we're doing good. Think we're doing good. The video's up. Yeah. Oh, don't even.
Inaccessible.
Yep, it is accessible. Gorgonite's in chat. He's like crashes 5 minutes from now.
No.
It's like don't even play Gorgonite. Don't even play.
That's gonna happen. You saw how many times I've had to get finally to get this issue out this fucking week. So I don't blame anybody in indie, especially at our level, for having to continue to adapt.
Right.
Just
ready for
yeah.
the next issue, by the way.
Oh, I don't know if you are. I hope you're not. No, it's long awaited. Apparently we are live, so I don't mind getting into it, but I'd rather know we're live.
No. We are live. We are fully alive. Like
We are?
Yes.
But there's no video to watch.
yeah, there's no video.
I
Like
can't see any chat.
what's funny is I'm in chat. Like no, not the old one. You got to go into the completely new. That one's gone. Bye.
No, I'm on your channel.
I'm
Yep.
because Gorgonite's
It's showing that showing that it's there's
Yeah.
no video.
Yeah, it's got over on the left where.
like oh
And I'm looking at your channel and I'm refreshing, and yeah, it's
like on OBS it's saying it's streaming. It says it's streaming.
there's no,
Like
which is weird.
okay. It's funny because Gorgonite's like, bitch, I'll play and you'll just have to take it like the Queen of England's royal scepter up your people's arses.
That's some fuckery.
And
All this weird.
like it's so I'm guessing Gorgonite's hearing us. Gorgonite, are you hearing us? We need to know. This is severe need to know it. Cause this is getting kind of annoying.
Yeah, and it says it's stream.
OBS is streaming. I mean, I might have to change games. Maybe it's because I think it might. I think I know what it is. I know what it is.
That's true too. Yeah.
I think I figured it out. So what it might be, it might be drawn together, drawn together, don't start together, because of the fact that it's, it just crashed.
Where is his YouTube? I don't have a link to that.
Alright, give me 1 second. I got you, son.
That's cord.
I will drop it in.
There's his channel.
Alright. And there you go, Ty. It's in the chat.
Huh.
Alright.
Let it.
And-
All the personality.
And Gorgonite's like, yes, we humans.
Okay, there it is on Twitter. Okay, I got the link there. Let me see if it'll open. It'll open. And there we are. And there we are. So what the fuck?
I don't know.
Gorgonite's in.
I've been telling.
Gorgonite's here. He got here.
Yeah, I've been telling you.
Gorgonite get here and I couldn't get here.
Yes, I was like,
What the hell
What,
is
what,
that?
you know what's interesting? Mine says I went to it and it says Nerd Over 30 Media of the Mind IRONVERSE Division. It says offline on my side.
That's
Like,
that's because that one we were unable to get it to properly sync up. Like I was just sitting there fighting with. I was like, screw it, we're not. Basically, pull in a. I did a. What's his name? What's his name? O'Reilly, Bill O'Reilly. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Okay. All right.
I'll,
good. I guess we're good. We can move on from assuming things aren't working to assuming they are, and if they aren't, well, we're still going through it, right?
yeah, exactly. That's that's why I was like, what do you mean you're not? We are live. It's just a different video. I didn't realize y'all were not having trouble getting into the video. It's like, oh well.
Yeah, it wasn't even there on your on the channel or anything, which is very odd. But whatever, we're good. We're good.
I'm gonna tweet out the correct link.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me go to the channel and see if it's up now. I'm just out of morbid curiosity. Yep, see, now it's up on the channel.
I'll believe it.
We're good. We're good. All right, all the bases are covered.
Let me see.
Oh wow. Okay, that wasn't me with the with the capital letters.
Yes.
Like, did I have caps lock on?
No. It was Gorgonite.
Y'all tech fuckery would happen. I warned y'all, and I had summoned that fact. Gorgonite.
Like, dude.
You had hexed us,
and
you and your Zoomber hex.
And what's funny is I earlier even did a little test stream. I was having no problem. That's how I knew I was going to be able to at least get this one operational. At least get this one. I guess.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my own shilling.
Yes.
And then we can start off however you guys want to.
Well, I do have some questions for you, kind sir. I do have some questions for you.
That's what I like. A little bit of direction on a very wide path.
Exactly.
Spork here, I'm quoting. Give me just a moment. You guys, hang out, whatever.
No,
I got type. Can't think and type. What do you think? Think I'm some kind of human being or something?
Right.
Let's see.
No, you're just an android, sir.
He is nowhere near data.
You're giving my humanity too much credit.
Let's see. I'm not sure what I'm gonna.
Well, you guys can go ahead and maybe introduce yourselves for folks who may not know, which is kind of rare, but possibly.
It does happen. It does happen. Well, how you folks doing? I'm the one and only Bob Jones, protecting you from the soy and the reticuloids and keep making sure that you back only the finest in indie comics. Thus, why you folks are here today, so you can hear about the finest of fine indie comics. Jack Irons the Steel Cowboy and Cactus Coyote.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
So
me some Jack Irons.
Exactly. So you people will soon be getting to hear all about things going on and what's happening in the Ironverse.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And speaking of the Ironverse, I'm Cody, creator, editor, writer for Ironverse Comics, indie comics' newest attempt at weird Western science fiction. We hit the ground running last year with Jack Irons Steel Cowboy #1 and #2 crowdfunding campaign. We were able to release Jack Irons #1 fully colored and printed thanks to Wicked Publishing. Beginning of this year, I think we started shipping them out in January, and we finally finished all the work, all the printing shenanigans, all the indie comic trenches and battles for issue #2, and it has been shipped out this week. So I am just unbelievably excited for this year and a half, a little bit over almost, of working on this, and finally folks get to see what I've been holding on to now for about 3 or 4 months as a finished product. So I'm just so damn excited. Worth and can find a whole group of new readers.
For sure.
Nice.
Hey guys. Hey, I'm Chuck from the other Wicked co-publishing team, Sporkman Studios.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I guess later on I'll give you guys, if you want to, a little brief update on what's going on with Sporky.
Nice. We will not say no to that.
Always.
Power up.
Alright. So.
I'll get you situation.
Well.
Well, I'm That tells me a lot. I'm going to have to shut the game down and leave this one because it's taking up too much. Too much.
Well, that'll happen. That'll happen. I'm unsure. Tyke, if you're here, I would pitch your fine man. But if not, he does a webcomic series called Hunters of the Arrival. I hope to God I have that title correctly. I'm so sorry if I don't. But you leave me no choice but to shill for you, brother. I can put the link in chat. Go ahead and check that out. He's been a wonderful friend of many indie comic creators out there, and he himself has done a lot of killer work. We've got a really cool Cactus Coyote Jack Irons piece from him relatively recently I commissioned, and just wonderful work.
Definitely. And you also reminded me I need to also post a link to my webcomic as well, because I'm working on that. I'm actually so with my new ink set, you'll get a kick out of this. I'm actually working on what will end up being the font I use in the comic.
Nice.
Like righteous.
Aha! I had it incorrect. It is Hunters of the Dark Arrivals. Ha ha! But I was close. Let me go ahead and link that in chat for folks. Go check it out. It's free. It's worth your time.
Definitely worth your time. Definitely.
Uh-oh, Tycade's mic just gave out. Did. That's how it works around here. That's my neck of the woods. Let's see. Dan, thank you so much. Dan Sacro, another wonderful Wicked creator. One of the 3 co-creators of the Mythoverse. Check them out. They are on track to be shipping on time, as far as I've seen, in September. And all 3 titles, Adobe Kroger, Dave Commander, Mythics, and Changeling, an Urban Fairy Tale, look amazing. They hit different audiences, and there's something in the Mythoverse probably for everybody who likes a supernatural, female-led comic universe so far. But that's not the word. There's a better word. There's a better marketing word. It ain't coming to me. So
hey, I thought we were against diversity there, Cody.
What? I'm against what?
Diversity.
Oh, God,
we got comics with female leads? Really?
Well, we've had comics female leads forever.
You speak heresy.
And I'm so glad that the quality is increasing again and again.
Yep.
That's what matters to me. I don't
Out there.
Well, fuck you then.
Let me turn it down a little bit. I turned up.
Show myself.
I am. I'm speaking to you beyond the veil through a medium called OBS.
Exactly. Well, Discord.
I don't actually exist out there, buddy. I'm all in your head.
It's technically Discord. Technically Discord. But yes, the point is still the same.
Well, there's a couple channelers. They're doing their thing, you know. But
exactly. Hopefully now you're, like I said, you're sounding better for them.
Let's see. He can hear your breathing, bordering on even smelling it. That's an issue as well. My breath smells of strawberry moonshine and grapefruit juice.
Oh yeah.
I hope you can not smell that as well.
Mine smells of Diet Dr. Pepper and coffee.
Yeah, that's a heady brew right there. If you can smell all, or I think that's why smell-o-vision never really took off.
Exactly, because it's like.
I mean, they tried it in the 50s and it kind of worked.
Oh God, this dead dog's not too strong.
But yeah, you wouldn't want like a pile of corpses smell, or yeah, that's the one thing they never addressed in a zombie apocalypse. Woo. Never addressed the amount of rotting corpses.
Alright, I like that. Gorgonite's like, I don't exist, Cody 2019.
Always quoted me, always picking the best ones. You better be saving those, because they will probably be powerful weapons for you in the future.
Exactly.
Dank memes.
You need the dank.
Bust out.
Well, if we are on track, unless you're still fumbling to get a game together, Bob, I'd love some questions. Okay, well, we can do
both. I can do both.
You can do both?
Yes,
that's the modern man right there. All right.
So, first question up. latest updates on Jack Irons issue 3.
Oh, on issue 3. Yeah, that's smart. Well, we'll see what happens with issue 2. Right now, we're going through, since issue 2 is being delivered, there's a lot of things that will happen after backers get all their books and we feel satisfied with the fulfillment we've done. Right now, we're running Cactus Coyote. It is a different team. I am simply running any. So that's the thing too. So part of the campaign for Cactus Coyote, lesser momentum, I assume, is due to that fact. It's another virgin team basically, and that's I'm totally fine with. But I want folks to know that it is a different team. So it's going through different channels. So hopefully our plans and so far how we've been doing it is we'll have 8 pages done by the time the campaign's done, whether or not we reach our goal. And at that point, we'll repurpose Cactus. If we don't, if we do, of course, we're working for the full 40-page nice issue for you folks who back us. But Cactus Coyote determines a lot of how we want to move forward with Jack 3. Is why I bring it up. With Jack Free, the script's been written a long time ago. It's been edited, it's been rewritten, it's been edited again, and it's sitting with the artist. He wanted to, Maxi Dallo, he wanted to start on the pages before the book, kind of like what we're doing with Cactus Coyote, before the campaign. But he also needs to eat, so he's working it in when he can, and so we'll have something done by the time we get to the campaign. I'm not sure how much or how little. And I'm excited with the script. How I've been writing the first arc of Jack Irons is that basically each issue is standalone, but feeds into the next. So, like how old comics used to do, it's like, oh, see this issue back when, but you can still just read that issue and you'll be fulfilled. You'll get your little arc,
Gotcha.
That's what we're doing with all of at least the first intro Jack. Mainly because of how it introduces the overall Ironverse as a thing for these characters to play around in. It's pretty damn important for that. I think that anybody can pick up any issue that looks interesting to them, get fulfilled, and then go back and get more out of the issue they already read because they went back, or just continue from there on. I wanted those options to be.
Well, boys,
All
I
right.
guess we're walking.
I got a bad feeling about this. Ooh, it passed. I think we can.
I know what we're doing with Cactus. At the moment, we only have 10 days left, and we are nowhere near our goal of $177. We're at about $547. There, we're also this time it's $10 and you'll have it shipped, printed and shipped right to you, with whatever extras you paid for, your choice of covers. So that's part of it. It eats into the margins quite a bit by going so cheap. But I also think that's where these books kind of need to start leaning so that you can start getting more and more backers. So even if it's not successful this time, it's probably the model we're going to try and use moving forward, pricing wise, seeing how practical that is. With that, I lost track. Let me see. Yeah, a lot of different thoughts converged and then exploded and left me with nothing. Where do I want to go with that?
Basically,
Yeah.
you blew your wad in one sentence. How disgusting. I'm ashamed of you, sir. I'm ashamed.
You can be ashamed of that, but man, it's all out of earnest trying. No, what it is. So with that, with the Cactus Coyote campaign, we do have the option of extending it. We only launched it for 35 days.
Gotcha.
So we do have 25 days possible in the bank. But we got to feel there's some momentum behind it to really want to put the effort there.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's momentum, there's interest, but interest and dollars don't equate always.
Hey.
And so that's something to learn. It's something to figure out and forward through.
Yep. That's true story, bro. True story.
All right, Gorgonite has a good point about what I was talking about. So it's been edited, it's been rewritten, it's been reworked, and it's been edited again. He forgot that. But issue 3, spelling error on the first page. So far, both issue 1 and issue 2, the versions that were shipped to Indiegogo backers have a very slight one-letter spelling error on each. So I might continue that tradition just so folks can right away know what the Indiegogo book is. You know, you could open it first page, look, yep, there it is.
Forewarning.
That's an authentic Indiegogo-backed, not mass market version of the book.
Forewarning. People just kind of got an ear blast from Chrono Trigger, so.
I did not, but then again, I'm only listening through Discord, so
exactly.
there you go, folks.
I'm sorry about that, folks. I forgot that Chrono Trigger likes to be like, I'm gonna be loud, I'm gonna get all up in your ear when I'm in the main menu. Sorry.
Well, no, they got to blow your mind with those experiences back then. You spent all this time to get this game, you're going to spend 100, 200 hours in it. Yeah, they want to make sure you know it's there. So to finish that Jack 3 question, it's there. It's in progress. In fact, issue 4 and 5 are also written, but they're going to probably be re-edited pretty good. If you want to talk about what's been written, Cactus Coyote is 20 issues in written. The guy is fucking prolific.
Really?
I've read the first 4 arcs of Cactus Coyote, and they are fucking incredible. And I am so I will be so sad not to share those with people with our work. And we're gonna no matter what. We've got it down to how we're gonna do it. Our plan C is a pretty strong plan C. I just don't want to have to go to it. I don't think we need to. I think Cactus has enough strength to be on its own legs. It's just not getting the awareness, and the current environment for crowdfunding is kind of it's more split than last year. There's a lot of people who feel they've been gotten kind of screwed with their faith, and there's a lot of people who are just angry with the environment in general and closing their wallets because they don't want to support that environment. And even though IRONVERSE Comics has never been part of that, I understand that we're affected by it. And so we're hoping that we can continue to rebuild that faith and continue to grow upon it, because we have so many talented artists, so many great stories to tell, and the only limit to that is folks wanting those stories. And so we just gotta get them to folks, let them know, and if they like it, hopefully it'll work out again. That's that's all you can do. It's always a gamble with comic books. Always a gamble.
I'll echo that statement completely, Cody. That it's a gamble 100%. You know, we've been doing it for 13 years, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I love what we're creating and stuff like that, but it is not for the faint of heart.
Definitely.
No, if you folks are familiar with the anime/manga, I believe Bakuman, that's one of the main lessons it tries to impart. One of the main parts of the story, it's about a young mangaka whose uncle was a mangaka who literally worked himself to death. He had one hit, and he was trying to replicate that the entire rest of his career so hard and trying so badly, and it killed him. And so they're trying to keep him out of doing the same thing and all that. It's a wonderful story about finding faith and finding your place and all that. But nonetheless, there's truth to it, especially when you're doing the manga thing. With Western comics, if you got enough money, you can make something happen. With manga, you still need this crazy-ass grind. It doesn't matter how much money you had, you need people able to put out that crazy-ass grind. So I don't envy that at all.
Hey, Cody, I have a question real quick.
Please.
So you said that you can choose which cover you want for Cactus Coyote?
Yes.
I didn't know. I thought you did a contest to see which one it was going to be. I did not know.
No,
that's really
there's
cool that you did that.
the tier titles. I will admit, we went with what we did with Jack Irons, which was more figurative and less descriptive. So the next thing we might do is descriptive. I believe. Let me see. At 4-card Monty. Yes, 4-card Monty. $5, $5 shipped US. We actually did work in the international shippings for you kind folks overseas. You're actually going to have to pay this time. With Jack, you guys helped, but it didn't do it. We certainly didn't charge what the industry standard is to actually get the thing to you. We lost money on books we were sending out to international, but we're happy to do that. We are happy to do that to get that audience and to get the awareness and to honestly just to do right by what we were attempting. And thank God for Wicked Publishing coming in and helping with that. But yes, 4-card Monty, you get cover A, which since it's been released, a lot of people, it's got a lot of good feedback. I love cover A. That's the actual interior artist and colorist, Andrea Buscolo and Steve Cannon, respectively. Steve Cannon is the colorist on Jack Irons issue number 2, and hopefully on issues moving forward as well. He was able to differentiate his style from Jack quite a bit. Jack is extremely textured, while Cactus is a little bit more smooth, a little bit more spacey, and that was my main worry with using the same colorist. But he pulled that trick off spectacularly.
Sorry about this.
Like,
Sorry about this in advance. Sorry about
What's
this.
up?
I'm about to ear blast people again. I'm gonna try not to.
Okay, well, let me know when you're done ear blasting because I got another product.
Yeah, okay, I've managed to avoid it. No,
We're clear.
We're clear.
We're clean. All right, and then you can either join 4-card Monty, get cover A, or you can do the Baccarat Gambler, which is cover B by Mr. What's His Name, also known as Bridge of Faust on Twitter. A very prolific Irish artist. He did the piece in a night. I believe that's what he tends to do. It's got this great aggressive energy to it that comes, I think, from how he works. It's been our primary promotional piece since the start of the campaign, just because we had it colored earliest. But I'm a huge fan of it. I've been using the covers as my wallpapers for quite some time now.
Nice.
I love these pieces. I love Team Coyote. I love Team IRONVERSE comics, and we're putting out some killer work. And I'm really hoping there's a surprise in the issues of Jack that we're sending out, besides the pinups that we've decided to give backers as well for their extreme patience. 1 of 6 pinups you guys will get random because, we took the capitalist approach. You want the other ones, you're going to have to buy it. But you got a random chance at the one you want for free, so that's something. I think it's a very comic book thing to do, whether or not it's an overly generous thing to do. But nonetheless, there's another item in there that I'm hoping will help entice backers of Jack to Cactus Coyote. We'll see if it worked. It was kind of a last-minute collaboration between the creator, Dollar Coins, and myself. But I think it was a good idea, and Wicked Publishing was more than willing to integrate it into the shipping because we got there on time. Nice. So that was great.
Nice. All right. So you ready for my next question?
Sure.
The trouble with issue 2 getting printed and all the lessons and how it will help 3 getting its printing and everything. Like, what all did you learn?
Oh, there's so much there. So when I signed with Wicked, let me see. Uh-oh.
I still see it live.
Still live? Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope
It's
so.
just live.
Right.
Yeah, as long as it's still live, let's hope. I've done that too. As long as you recover quick enough, the stream won't be affected either. I've done that a few times where I had to hop back in.
Dude, I was like, 1 minute everything's going fine, next minute. Wait, what?
Gremlins. Yeah, no, I know. Gremlins. It's always Gremlins. Always those damn Mogwai. So with that, folks can plan on hearing from me maybe on my channel, IRONVERSE Comics. Look it up, folks. I do a weekly update live stream, and I've started doing Let's Plays. Come hang out, ask me any questions, and it's where I do all my updates every Friday on everything going on with IRONVERSE Comics.
Any question.
Make sure it's up.
Cash? Literally anything.
Well, I mean, that's what an AMA is. Most people who back out of the anything part of that get torn to shit. So I stay with the anything bit, and you just might not get an answer you absolutely enjoy, but you'll get an answer pertinent to the question. It won't be a deflection.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright.
Let's say, open up the can of worms.
Let me go through chat real quick. Gorgonite's got a couple things. Thanks for the ear rape, Bob. It's become your streaming gimmick at this point. Ear rape is, make sure you're paying attention, right? You can't just float off into other thoughts. Make sure you're listening to us. Then he says 40 issues worth of writing. Yeah. Back this shit, people. Back it now. Dollar Coins is an extremely prolific author. He's done a lot of novels as well. So important that he found us and found something here because he's carved out with Cactus Coyote what the greater galaxy and such that we are working towards with all of our work, what that is. And it's a hell of a lot of fun. he writes, you know, our first the preview manga we released months ago, 40 pages free on Tapas. Please go check it out if you haven't already. That was a grind to get through. We were going to do 8 pages, then it turned to 16. And he's like, yeah, we're going to do 40. So okay. So I lettered and edited that. Lettering's not great. Editing's about what you'd expect from like a fan translation of a manga. So I think we kind of pulled off a good effect. But it's worth a read. It'll give you kind of all the vibe that we're trying to pull forward with Cactus Coyote. It's self-contained enough. It leaves you with the hook. I think it does its job perfectly. But that's what we tried to do with Jack too. With Jack number 1, with Jack also. We put out the free 24-page first issue on Tapas, and that seemed to be a big hit because when you're judging a rookie project, something that hasn't delivered consistently for a long time, but you have some interest, it helps to actually be able to see what you're getting. And so that's kind of what we did, but the manga is separate. It is drawn and laid out and everything by Dollar Coins, and it was written by Dollar Coins, and I just went in and edited and lettered. And I'm really proud of that, let alone these new pages that we've been able to get together with Andrea Boscolo, wonderful talent out of Italy. He used to work pretty mainstream and then got sick of how the mainstream treats artists. And so he's been doing his own thing for a little bit. Folks might be aware of his work with Purity Sin or Purity Sin Gaming and Chaotico Comics.
I was just actually going to ask that.
That's on Comixology. Please go check it out. But his Cactus Coyote work, I've just been floored with again and again and again. He's a perfect fit for IRONVERSE, and with Jack, it's serious, depressing, Dead Man's Walk, apocalyptic western. With Cactus, it's depressing, manic, Looney Tune, kind of psychological trauma shit. And I'm really impressed with the writing. It's so much damn fun because it's a comedy book at its soul, but it's comedy covering up for the rest of what IRONVERSE Comics kind of is, which is the struggle against the darkness,
Gotcha.
which most fucking stories are. So at their most basic. So I'm so proud of what we're doing. I'm really hoping other people will hop on board eventually. We're not stopping anytime soon, so you folks got time. But if you want to help us get there faster, get the quality up, get the timings better, all that, the only way to do it is to support us. And so check out the campaign if you haven't already. See if it's for you. We'd be mighty obliged.
Definitely. So real quick, what's up, Neo Star? Glad to see you in chat. And now on to the next question.
Just a sec. One more. Dan, he said he didn't back it. He practically invested in it. I had quite a few wonderful creators invest pretty damn heavily in Jack Irons. And I'm thankful for each one of you. And I am so proud to see all of your continued success. Again, extremely thankful for all of you helping us get to where we've gotten at IRONVERSE Comics.
Nice. Alright, you ready?
I am, sir, I am.
Alright. How is the Cactus Coyote IGG going? Like, really get into the nit and gritty. I know you touched on it a bit, like, what all, like, do you have planned with it? You know, big, like, stretch goals, things like that. Like, what do you want to see happen with it?
Well, we want to print the issue. And get it. That's what we want to do. I mean, that's the most basic we can do. We want to pay our artists and get the book out. That's what you always want to do with that first go. If you can do that, then you're successful. Of course, wants. There's an infinite amount of wants, brother. There's so much we could do if we had the funding and the fuel. Currently, we don't. But where I would want to is see this finish funded out to folks. Then we would have Coyote kind of running his own thing while I'm doing the Jack thing, and then we would spin with Jack number 3. Jack number 2, the last page introduces one of the other very important characters in IRONVERSE Comics.
Nice.
Issue number 3 of Jack is their history together. And in the back of issue number 3 of Jack, I want to include a 8-page short I wrote that Vincent Rush, our very talented letterer and a very talented artist in himself, he's done one of our more famous and popular promo pieces. He's also working on Hellseekers for Alterna Comics. He got a piece in Jawbreakers, one of his fan art pieces. Great kid, does excellent work, super helpful, so great to see his success, and he wants to draw this 8-page short. And my hope is to be able to include that, which it would be a stretch goal, in the Jack Irons number 3 book. Start doing that thing that they used to do in old Western books, where they'd have their main character with the main title, and then you'd have your secondary character in the back doing something else. I'd like to continue that with the other characters until they have enough traction that they can carry their own books. And that goes into our plan C if Cactus Coyote doesn't work. We have that mini done, the 8 pages for it, no matter what, by the end of this campaign, and we can include that in what I'm calling the Ironverse anthology, and that would be the 5 main characters in a single anthology of mini stories by our incredibly talented Team Ironverse Comics. And that's our Hail Mary that I hope we don't have to get to. But I'd be happy to see it too.
Alright. Let's see.
I have a question for you, Cody.
Okay,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty.
So, are you opposed to letting other creators give cameos to your characters in their work?
I've never been personally part of what I'm trying to do with Jack Irons is create a character that theoretically anybody can not only relate to, which is a hell of a thing to say, but be able to write or create for because of the circumstances he's in. All these past lives, the near infinite future, multi-dimensions. All that to me is 100% part of Jack. He doesn't have to be limited in any of those capacities. And so having the character appear, as long as it's not a huge, something where I should be getting paid for it, it's not an arc, it's not a full crossover, it's not a something like that. A cameo is absolutely always welcome. It's free publicity. It's humbling to see other people try to put their effort into putting Jack somewhere else. Fan art is still one of the biggest things that has kept me going in all of the harsh work. It means the world to me every time I see a new piece.
Gotcha,
and meet a new creator, a new artist, and most of the time I'm able to at least connect with them, if not become friends. And that's again one of the things that keeps me here, because there's there's a big cesspool you can wallow in if you let you.
Definitely.
And so in the cameo case, yeah, absolutely. As long as it's confined to, say, a cameo. But again, if it's a storyline, an arc, or something, then discuss it with me, please.
Prime example.
Otherwise, I'm gonna discuss it with you.
Exactly. And I seen him, folks. He done flipped out, took a dude outside and beat him. It was bad. He literally, like when his friend tried to stop him, he went and grabbed his friend and beat him with his friend. Like,
It was a little friend, to be fair. It might have been a child. I just couldn't pay attention. Too busy focused on the on the action. But no, yeah, no, Tycade, particularly you. Just let me know if that's something you're interested in. I am amiable to possibilities on almost every front.
Like, I can't confirm or deny that Jack Irons may appear in On the High Seas as a poster.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, no. I'm excited for that.
I cannot confirm that Jack Irons will appear in Hunters.
Right on. Well, damn humbled. Thank you, folks. We'll see. I'd like to give more cameos back. Sadly, with the production of issue number 2, I only got two in, and one of them is no longer relevant, which pisses me off a bit. But that's what happens with time. That's what happens with time. But it's not so blatant that it takes anybody out, because there's a lot of cameos that'll do that's like, what the fuck's that doing here, and then it's gone, and it doesn't matter. No, these are background or ancillary, and if you know what I'm talking about, then you'll be able to recognize them. Otherwise, they're just.
What is it?
Sorry, I did not hear that. My apologies.
I was just about to ask, what was it that they got? Like, in which book and what was it?
Issue number 2. I'm gonna let folks call it out. There's one big blatant one that I was really kind of excited to put out, and circumstances had changed for that individual, and no longer involved in comics as far as I can tell. So that was kind of sad. But it's there. It's kind of a cool cameo, and it's not so blatant that you're like, oh, it's this. Yeah, no, it's fine. And then page 1 has a implied cameo that not many people will get, but the person who it was for will get it, and maybe some other fans will too. Just maybe.
Just maybe.
Excellent.
Would you be talking about
Story arc that's kind of in the background as you're reading Jack talking about the history of the world. That's a fun little story arc. So it served its purpose no matter what. It gave the dedication to the guy I wanted to, and yeah, I'm happy with that cameo. But I also don't want to overload and mainly because I'm a very hands-off creator with my artist Maxi Dallo, because he always delivers better than what I wrote, and then I just rewrite to that better, and hopefully it comes out even better than the original concept or either of us could do. That would be the hope. And so it's hard for me to demand things unless it has to be. And the cameos in the one case that I'm talking about that I'm hoping folks will recognize, that one I kind of owed a little bit to. But there's more I want to do, and there's one big one that's down the line. So, again, just if you can keep IRONVERSE Comics lights on, folks, so much can happen.
Nice. All right. So, back to Cactus Coyote. Does its inclusion into the IRONVERSE affect the overarching story in any way?
Okay, so Cactus Coyote, this isn't set in terms of date, but it's about 20 years in Jack's future. So when you're reading Jack Irons, you're about 20 years behind. And you're reading Cactus, you're about 20 years ahead.
Gotcha.
Cool.
So there's a convergence point that will occur. The issue, the first convergent point of all our characters, Dollar Coins has written the fucking issue, and it's amazing. But we gotta get there. Our next big step. So Cactus was our shot in the dark, trying to keep a similar pace and similar level to Jack Irons. The next one, there's a little bit more handholding, talking about the character's going to have a mini in the back of Jack. He's introduced in Jack 2. Jack number 3 has a huge arc with him because it's a very old history between these two characters. He's the Vegeta to Jack's Goku, kind of. In attitude, almost certainly. And though Jack is not a Goku in any way, he's very much a murderous outlaw. But in terms of that kind of dichotomy, the competition dichotomy, the striving to be the best. I mean, the character's Tracker, top predator. He wants to be the greatest killer to ever exist, and there's something out there he cannot kill. That's his bit. And I'm hoping you like what we're doing with him. His shtick in his books, it's a fun shtick. It's a hunting shtick, and it doesn't require too much plot. It's more of an event kind of thing. This issue is an event. He does this and then interlocks, and then maybe something crosses over into the next arc that matters. After all 5 are introduced, that's the biggie. That's when we'll start connecting them. I believe Cactus will introduce Golden Monk partway through one of his arcs if we get there. Otherwise, we've got other plans. Again, I have an 8-page mini written for that, sitting with Bruce Patnod, so we're just waiting for that too. And then Lady Silverado with Call of Deathsworn fame also has been written and is sitting with the very talented artist. And so that's our plan C that I don't really want to get to. My hope would be to start including those 8-page minis. Instead of one big anthology, we include them in the back of ongoing series such as Cactus Coyote and Jack Irons. But we are adaptable. We want to survive. So whatever the market tells us we need to do to survive, we're going to do it.
Adapt, overcome, survive.
Yep. So that's kind of there is a plan to meet. It's been written. At least the first of the we don't even know the title yet. There's a few loose terms, but there's a lot on the way. If there's not much of an if except for funding, and I don't like putting an if there either because I know if we fight fucking hard enough, we'll get it.
Exactly.
So I would like it to be a less of a fight and more of a cruise.
Yeah.
And only folks who are interested and wish to help fund what we're doing can make that happen for us. Or if I somehow end up with a lot of money. I do have PayPal links. I'm just saying.
Right? Exactly.
But no, we have our Patreon too. If it was more active, I'd be more active on it. I do update pretty good. I was pretty bad about this since we got into the Cactus campaign, just because been overwhelmed with trying to make sure Jak 2 got out and that Cactus is getting some marketing exposure, and I'm running the coloring for that too in terms of the business end of it. And so yeah, it's a lot for newbies, but it's kind of fit like a relatively tight glove. A little stretches and then maybe a tear here or there, but we're figuring it out. And we are always thankful for folks willing to put their faith and their patronage behind those efforts.
Hey, that's one thing you can definitely say you've had this whole time is you've had the backing of the community and a lot of people pretty much being like, yeah, it's all about us some Jak Iron, that steel cowboy.
I have no clue how I ended up being so lucky finding the right community and the right people, and not the right to make something happen or to make Jak happen, to continue to fuel that, to find an audience. Period. I was speaking to George Alexopoulos, love that name, of Mary Sue,
Yes.
on Podlamatic, his podcast about this, and that it's so very, very hard. This year more so. Last year it was hard. This year it's nigh impossible. The cacophony of projects and of this year it's been drama noise also, but that's calmed down the last couple of weeks with some maneuvering. But it's hard to get that marketing exposure unless you have different outlets besides. For me, it's mainly Twitter, but we've tried to hit Instagram with Cactus Coyote, limited success. It's hard the social media cacophony is just loud and it's mean, and a lot of people don't want to engage with fun or gentle or even just art. A lot of the time they're more likely to engage with the other stuff, which boosts it and shuts down anything with a little less force behind it.
Yeah.
And I'm just I'm certain the one thing that I can say the Cactus Coyote campaign has done is I think it gave me a good 150 new followers, which is wonderful. I hadn't seen an influx like that. I've been steadily increasing basically since the beginning. I've been floored by how quickly I've been able to grow that platform. But that was one thing that happened. I was very happy to see that. I'm hoping the same will happen once Jak 2 starts getting to people. They start sharing it. Again, we included something with the physical issues of Jak 2. That'll hopefully make people think, oh yeah, look at this. They're doing something else, huh? Because I've been very reluctant to ask the backers directly to back another project before they got their project in. And finally we're getting the fucking project in. so I can start not feeling so shameful to ask, hey, we're doing something else. You want in on that too?
Okay, but here's the thing. You didn't pull like a, Richard Pace where you're like, hey, yeah, I got this thing going on. I'll definitely keep up with it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Then, oh, wait, no. You kept up with it. You didn't block people. You didn't pull any level of,
Shenanigans?
Yes. Shenanigans is good. So,
well, I pulled one shenanigan, but it was to be expected of a novice, and that was constant scheduling of release. And that's a pain in the ass. I don't, anybody who holds a little bit against us there, I support. We fucking stalled. We needed to, but we're getting the project out. It's not 4 years later. We got the issue one out 6 months ago, so we got the first bit of the project out within 6 months. That's not so bad.
Yeah.
But I've tried to be very communicative on that. I have found shortcomings myself in that, but I never got any level of disdain from the community ever, and that's why I've been able to continue to involve myself so much. Very little impatience. The impatience that was there was because they were excited for the book, not because they're like, you took my money, I think I refunded maybe 3 times during the campaign and fucking once since it's closed. Once. And the guys just needed the money at that time, not so much that he didn't want the book anymore.
Yeah.
And so that is just crazy. I had 500 backers, well, near 500. I think it's like 460 something. Backers, 478, I think is the number. And to get that level of patience from those folks is fucking incredible,
Right.
and undeserved in a lot of ways. I'm a backer too, but I end up usually backing folks I know directly and have a line to. So if I feel the need to complain or say, hey, I don't think you're doing this right, I can. But a lot of people, don't even want to communicate with you at that. They just want their fucking book. And if you didn't give it to them, well, fuck you. You didn't do what I paid you for. And we deserve that at the point. But hopefully soon we're making up for that. That's part of the reason why Wicked and I collaborated to print. So all the pinups are included in the back of issue number 2. But we also went and printed each of the pinups on an 11x16 nice little sheet of paper, and we're shipping those out. The books that have been sent out this week, some of them were sent out with a folded pinup, and Wicked and I decided that we don't want to do that with shipments coming forward. So those people who receive that will be receiving another pinup in a proper sized envelope, so it's not folded. And from here on out, folks will be getting a unfolded pinup. And I've really worked hard to keep those pinups secret. I tried so damn hard to keep the double page spread that I ended up spoiling, and the cover secret from folks, but we were just taking too goddamn long, and folks needed to see how wonderful the work we're doing. So I ended up having to leak that little by little just to show that we're doing something, because I really did want. Some folks it's going to be that way because they don't pay attention to social media. That's great. And some folks don't even pay attention to the Indiegogo even, so they might also not be spoiled there. But we spoiled one of the pinups, the wonderful pinup by Carl O'Rowe, Deathsworn fame again. Go back it if you haven't already. Killer book, good artist. And S.E. Tonks, who's worked on a lot of things around in. He did the coloring. Wonderful pinup of the Four Horsemen. That's been spoiled. But there are 5 others that I have fucking kept quiet. And I can't wait to see folks' reactions to them, because they are incredible pieces, and I've been sitting on them for nearly a year now. And it's about goddamn time that wonderful work got out to the folks who funded it.
Well, I'm glad you're excited to finally be able to spill some beans here, man, and I'm glad you're doing it on my channel live.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you again for having me on immediately. We did a lot of work here on last year's campaign. Meant a lot to me, means a lot to me. And I'm happy to continue to especially if it's here to shill. You know me, I'm here. I'm here to try and push this. I believe in our work.
Shill away. Shill away. I will not judge you, kind sir.
Right on. Let me see. Neostar says if he can come up with a proper setup, I'd be happy to do a Jack Irons crossover.
Right.
Pitch it to me, Neostar. Cameos are fine. Crossovers are a different thing. So pitch it to me. There's wonderful ideas out there. There's a lot that can be done. With Ironverse Comics, the main thing I do want to open up to other writers and artists is Jack's history, and I want them to be able to understand that anything they do under Jack's history can be considered canon in Ironverse Comics. It's part of his memory, part of one of his past lives. That's something I do want to open up, but he's got to establish his personality and his footing under what we're doing first. And so that's more likely to happen than crossovers, sooner than later. For instance, we've had a lot of short story crossovers with Jack. I've even written 3 short stories that got 2 have been published so far with Ashcan Publishing. They take place in the Ironverse. So if you want a little bit more Ironverse information, go check out Ashcan Publishing. Their Cyberpunk anthology and their Old School Monsters anthology. I did a piece in each. And then there's been some fan art kind of crossovers like that. Like fan art crossovers one thing too.
No, I love fan art crossovers.
Yeah, like that's a whole other thing. I fucking adore that. That's 100%. But when there's a story arc and there's personality that needs to be defined and there's a path that needs to be put, I don't want to be like Marvel Comics at this point where they're just handing it out to anybody with a different idea.
Right.
Jack's not there yet, and hopefully he does not get there. And he actually has, like I was saying, he has a portal for that different idea. We just got to get there.
Right.
Get to the point where folks want to read a Jack Irons fucking ex-slave story, or a Jack Irons, fucking. It could be a Crusader story. Any historical context. All that is 100% going to be opened once we have his current kind of, established. And we're working on it. 2 in. If we can get to 5, I'll say he's established. So yeah, no, Neostar, but always feel free to contact me on any. He then says, let's strike while the Ironverse is hot. It's always hot, baby.
Yeah,
It's fucking molten iron.
Oh yeah.
Hustle, hustle, hustle. Keep up the hustle, no matter what. You can stop hustling when the heat death of the universe happens. Yeah, I'm not a big transhumanism guy, but if I get forced into it, you damn well I will. I'll be doing that. Neostar, I'd love a little fun and whimsy. That's Cactus Coyote so far. Particularly his race, and once those get integrated into the storyline, there's a lot of adorable, hard things that are there. That's fun, but whimsical, but it's tough. Gorgonite says you're not pulling delay after delay for variant cover campaigns for the same book. This is true, but I also didn't make the money that those campaigns do. I also don't have the fan base those campaigns do, and I don't have the. No, I'm not gonna use that term. that those campaigns do, but it's different, and I'm not saying he should do those things or she, whomever gets that far, should do those things, but can they? Absolutely. And I don't have a problem with them as long as eventually that stops, the books deliver, and then there's a consistency after that. But at this point, that opportunity has come and gone so many times. I don't know. Then Gordon Knight suggests the Jack Irons Brokeback Mountain edition. Here we come. Jack is, again, a man of many lives, and therefore he is a relative pansexual in the mind, but he is asexual due to the trauma. So you do whatever you want to do with that. Neostar, the series I'm currently working on is called Henshin Hero. Guarizer? God, I hope I pronounced that right. Sounds good, Neo. I'd love to hear about it. And I think that's chat. Sorry for taking that over, Bob.
No, you're fine. You are fine. You were handling the chat. It's like, well, I did kind of say this was, Ironverse edition in the title. You take it over. Hey, that's less I gotta worry
Well, I mean, you put the reins next to me. I'm gonna grab them. It's kind of what I end up doing.
Hey,
so it's not usually a bad thing, but you let me know.
Good showman, Cody.
Well, why do you think I got so many people under me?
Exactly.
No. And alongside me. No, it's not a controlling thing. It's a little bit of a controlling thing. It's a bit of an ego thing, but it's more an anxiety thing. More keeping myself from getting kind of tweaky, because I am tweaky. I pronounce it better than most. Score. All right, so Guarizer. I don't know.
I
got me tongue twisted on moonshine. Tongue twisted
I
on
said Guarizer.
Guarizer. Oh, to make somebody guar. Oh, it's not with a W though, so I don't get
Yeah,
the
but
big
the
rubber
U,
suits.
but the U, yeah, but the U can be pronounced like a W.
Yeah, no, totally. Like Guadalajara,
Yeah.
Guadalupe, or I got you. But yeah, I just made me think of the band Guar. That's all.
Oh, I
Turn
love
That's where my mind went to, actually. Was the band.
Man, getting people in monster suits.
right.
Let's see, Gorgonite. I promise if I'm given the opportunity to make Brokeback Jack Mountain, Brokeback Jack, I like that. It'll be more than just a meme. As long as you tell a functional love story, Gorgonite, in there, you'll probably make me smirk. I don't. I certainly don't have much issue with that. Never mind. There we go, Neostar. Good. I'm glad I could butcher it. That first I try it and then I butcher it.
There you go. At least we know you're good at something. Even if it is just butchering things. You monster, you.
Yeah, it's a clean butchering.
So is Neo saying that never mind because of how I pronounced it, or what?
It could be because of how I went ahead and tried
Both.
that. Yeah.
Or both?
Yeah, you know
yeah.
what? No, we're just butchering the hell out of it. Period. I'm gonna call it just a Hitchin' Hero G. And
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Henshin Hero G. And then in small titles, you have the other the actual full name.
Guarizer.
Yep.
I could see that.
So it's basically instead of like Budweiser, it's Guarweiser. The beer made of 100% pure guars.
Fermented Guarian
On your
sweat.
tip.
Hey, how did I know that Chrono Trigger would teach me how to drink beer so early in my life?
Hey, just saying. And don't be judging my mad Chrono Trigger game. Don't be.
I've started Chrono Trigger like 4 fucking times. I just don't have the patience for JRPGs anymore. I've really tried to. I just don't have the patience. I need my quick fill and then back to work. Kind of sucks.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, Cody. Like I started playing Dark Souls and I can get like 1 hour in and then I'm like, I'm gonna go draw.
Well,
Yeah, I recently I tore through Fable Anniversary again. I've probably beat Fable like 7 times. Oh, and then I guess I did a Let's Play on the Punisher, and I played through all of the Punisher and talking about Tech Zoomer errors. The last 40 minutes of that. So when I was beating the game, my mic was off and I didn't realize it. So that's fun. But you know what? It was fine. It's just a boring fucking boss battle. It's so terribly conceived, that last boss battle. But the whole game was a lot of fun.
alright.
Beat that in like 9 hours, something like that. So I guess that's. But it was work, it was promo, so I was able to mix work and play. So I guess that worked.
Well, no,
And played.
for me, it's just the fact that I have a soft spot for JRPGs. It's just completing the JRPGs. That's another story.
Yeah, I have a soft spot too. I beat. Oh god, back in the day. What was it? Well, of course I was a huge. Technically counts. Huge Pokemon fan. I beat fucking every game. Put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours on when I was a kid.
Cody, you just won my heart.
Oh, I thought I had that already. Almost broke mine.
No, like you did, but now you just ripped it out of my chest, and now you hold it because Pokemon is like that and Bloodborne are like
Yeah.
games.
Yeah. Pokemon. I spent quite a bit. My first video game was Pokemon. Played the fuck out of that, and then put the most time into Pokemon Sapphire and lost that on a school bus or so, and then started again on Fire Red. Fucking put 400 hours or something on that. It was stupid. Yeah, that addiction high no longer works the same on. So I've started Pokemon games, especially ROMs. I play a lot of ROM hacks. I have a soft spot for mods and ROM hacks and just indie stuff in general. So I've Pokemon Suites is a lot of fun. I like when they take an older Pokemon game and then redo it in say Pokemon Emerald's engine. What was it? Crystal Soul or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's I have a soft spot for that, so I always appreciate that. But Blue Dragon, I played the fuck out of that on 360.
Oh, man.
That was a
That brings
JRPG I
back
played.
memories.
Yeah, never got any more, but man, Akira Toriyama always gets me. What? Can't think of another one off the top of my head, but I feel like I've done something else epic like that. But I don't remember. So maybe I haven't.
Have you done anything like Tokyo Xanadu or
No.
Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne?
No, but I've heard of the second one.
Yeah, because like pretty much that's what I play. JRPGs
Cool.
are like they're like the main thing that I play. Like most of my collection is mostly all JRPG stuff. You know, like
Nice.
Tales of the Cold Steel, and stuff like that. So that's the stuff I play.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a more Western RPG guy, so when I sink a lot of time in like Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, I put so much time into that. The Fable trilogy, even though the third one is total garbage.
Okay,
I put a lot
it's
of time
not a
into
bad
that.
game.
Once it shoehorns you into either playing the game or playing a shitty mini game where you're earning money to play the game, I lose it every time. I beat it.
Alright,
I've done
I'll
it
give you
before.
that
I
one.
just have to give up and say, yeah, fuck them. Let them all die. And that's not something I want to do. My most impactful part of Fable 2 was the end, where it's like your dog, everybody else, or money. And of course, I chose the dog because the dog was there every step. But
Did the same thing.
yeah, but so that fucking BioWare, back when OG BioWare.
Oh, yeah.
Played the fuck out of those Western RPGs, starting with like Icewind Dale 2. Played the fuck out of that. I played
KOTOR.
KOTOR. I didn't get through KOTOR. I started KOTOR. I've still started KOTOR. I might stream KOTOR because that might get me through it. Got me through the Punisher, and man, that there were times in that game, man. Rage quit was hard. But with KOTOR, there's no point of rage quit. It's just like figuring out what to do isn't so straightforward. It's got that older RPG feel to it. I'm more likely to play. I played the fuck out of Jade Empire. Jade Empire was the one that got me in
I
there.
love Jade Empire.
Yes, that's that. I played the hell out of that. I'm still playing through it. Like this is probably my fourth time through it or whatever. But I haven't done it for a while.
Yeah, when GOG ran their sale, that was one of the first games I bought like real quick.
Yeah. No, that's so good. Just the blending mythology and such, and it was the action combat was good enough for me too. And then they went to Mass Effect, and I was hooked. And I played the fuck out of Mass Effects. I love those games so much, and even the third one that they fucked, I didn't care as much as I should have. I wasn't happy, but I was happy there was more Mass Effect. And then Andromeda, and I just like everything to do with Andromeda just turned me away from BioWare. And now there hasn't been anything. Dragon Age, the first one, Dragon Age Origins, fuck out of, and the second, Dragon Age 2. Yeah, I played a lot of that too, but I didn't play Inquisition. But yeah, no, BioWare was the ones that got me on that. And I can't think of many other big old RPGs that I've played.
It's the Inquisition. What a show!
I remember when they released the 3-pack of what is that game you just said? The
Mass Effect.
Sci-fi one. Mass Effect. Yeah, the Mass Effect one. I played all 3 games in like the span of 2 weeks. I was so addicted.
Oh yeah, no, the story's so rich, and even the first one's combat, though weak, it's manageable, and the story's so good you can get through it. Fucking love
The
it.
first game is so good though.
Yeah, it's so good. And then the second one, the combat gets like tight, and it sold me. That second one I burn through every time I play it so goddamn quickly. And the third one, it's like, oh well, we did more with the combat. That's kind of where they left it, but that wasn't too bad.
Andromeda's the only one I actually played. I've never gotten a chance to play any of the other ones. Yeah,
I recommend them highly, especially the first one.
It's on my list of games to play, but I just never got a chance because I've just got so many other games to play. But I loved the story lore and stuff like that. You know, I thought it was a really good story, and I liked a lot of gameplay of it. So it does look really cool.
Yeah, no, the really it's the universe that got me. It's Star Trek with it's the 3 stars mixed really well. It's Gate, Trek, and Wars kind of blended with a BioWare D&D feel to it, and it's their magnum opus. And with how things are going through it might be their last.
Whoa, what was that?
Well,
That was Bob.
yes, I have returned.
He just really wanted to let us know. That's all.
Well, I have a desk mic now that I have to like physically. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It sucks, but pretty soon I will be investing in a better mic. At least that's the plan. And yeah, it'll be. But I also got to figure out what's causing the hum. Granted, I think I've gotten it to where it's not as bad on like YouTube and whatnot. I think.
Gotcha.
But oh man, last couple streams I did, as soon as I was on OBS, all you heard was. If I wasn't talking, that's all you heard.
That's not good.
Yeah.
You need that on push to talk, buddy.
I think I fixed it. It's what I can tell. It has something to do with the power supply not.
Actually, in the future.
Okay, so you almost murdered Star. He felt it in his headphones.
Sorry, Neostar.
They were talking about Monster Rancher. I have played a few Game Boy Advance Monster Ranchers. I never played the ones where you could actually import monsters by like DVDs and CDs and shit. I always thought that was a really cool gimmick when I saw it advertised. The plot went to shit after Mass Effect 1. It didn't go complete to shit. I thought Mass Effect 2 it ended some storylines that kind of need to be ended and allowed it did what it needed to as the sequel, but it set up so much for 3 that they're just like, yeah, fuck it, we're doing something else in 3. That it ruins 2's story because they really just dropped it and kind of picked up something else. But characters, and then Andromeda, don't touch Andromeda. I've heard different things about it. If you like the universe enough, it might be worth your time at this point because all the dramas died down and you can get it on sale. I don't know. I doubt I'll ever, I have less and less time to play video games lately, and it's all been work or reading comics. Been tearing through, or manga. I've been tearing through manga like crazy lately.
I just finished, issue 17 of One Punch.
Nice. Okay, I haven't gotten into the manga One Punch. I really like season. I've been waiting till season is finished, which it might be already.
It's done.
To watch it.
Yep.
Yeah, to watch it. And I heard mixed reviews of season 2.
The animation on season 2, but definitely I think the manga was much better.
Okay.
It's just because they went to a whole different studio, but I highly recommend the manga.
Okay.
I'm also reading. I just started reading a light novel called Arifuda. From the World's Strongest. Definitely good. Really good.
Cool. Yeah,
that's also got an anime series too.
Nice. Oh, okay, cool. I just I tore through volume 1 and volume 2. Oh no, it's actually more than that. I guess I'm on volume 3 of Battle Angel Alita.
Yes.
I had to start that after seeing the movie. I had never read it, and manga's so much better. It's so much deeper. Just fucking incredible. Shilling for the movie is great just because we'll get more of the movie and more awareness on this title. I really hadn't heard much of it till the movie, and fuck, am I glad I picked up the box set. And then I tore through the first book of Trigun finally. It's been a while, so I got to get through the second book and then start Maximum and see if Maximum's any good.
Maximum's not too bad.
Maximum's not too bad? That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I just wanted more Vash.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that if I'd have read Trigun when I was younger, it would have shaped Hunters more. I guarantee it, because I actually just recently, in the past couple of months, watched the anime for Trigun, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is godlike."
Oh yeah, it's one of the 2 big animes that influenced what I started to do. Cowboy Bebop and Trigun, really are. And then Outlaw Star came a little bit later, and that had some.
And then
Cowboy Bebop was the second one. I finished that.
All we have to say is, your after-school afternoon generally involved running home so you can catch anime on Toonami. Let's just be honest.
For me, it was catching anime after my parents went to sleep after Adult Swim, because I believe that's when Toonami was
Watching Blue
rescheduled.
Gender.
And it was my introduction that I remember the strongest, besides Pokemon and all the Saturday morning ones that they tried to do for a while, like Metabots and shit.
Oh my
besides
god,
those,
Metabots is amazing.
Besides those, it was, and just that got me into the whole darker edge of that, even though it's got the lovey-dovey romance too. But that was good at the time for me too. But you know, that was the one I was looking forward to. And of course, Cowboy Bebop would be on around that time too, and sometimes Trigun, Zoids. There's a specific season of Zoids I really like. I always forget about the others, and there's a lot of others. It's like the second season of Zoids I was fucking crazy for, and I've watched that again recently. It actually held up all right, even with the 3D CGI old school 90s against 2D backdrops. It actually holds up a lot better than it should. So that was cool.
Did you watch Cody? Did you watch like Blue Gender and stuff like that?
No, that doesn't sound familiar. So no.
The like Blue Seed. Yeah, there was like during that time frame, it was Blue Gender, Blue Seed, Trigun, Cowboy Bebop, and stuff like that. So you know what we should do? If you guys ever have time, we could run the off my Plex server. I have them, so we could always watch them.
Nice.
Or you know, that way, you know, because what I do is when I have DVDs, I actually copy them, make digital backups, so that way I have them in case anything ever happens.
No, that's
So-
smart. I just legally you're supposed to delete anything like that within a day. Isn't that bullshit? Because I've done the same thing. So I just
Yeah,
say fuck it.
As long as you own it, you don't have to.
Yeah, I've been down the same road. I found
Yeah.
both opinions. You do not own any IP, and therefore you cannot possess the IP in a different medium for more than a day for backup. So you have to re-back it up again and again. That was one of their loopholes for that. That's why we don't see a lot of big, Netflix-like corporations, because they got that loophole. You have to buy the license to do it, to store it even. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. I do something similar, a little shadier. And I have a pretty damn solid collection myself. But I'm just
No.
well, not of anime in particular, because there's not all that many anime I'm interested in. Just in media content in general. But
I'm just busting your chops, Cody.
I gotcha. I also recently finished Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. And if anybody
Nice.
read
See.
the manga of that,
Oh,
Yes.
okay,
you are
okay.
missing out.
Oh no,
The
the
manga,
manga's wonderful.
Hayao
Seen or read
Miyazaki,
it.
it's one of the few that he's actually, and it is on the level of Berserk in terms of the art. It is fucking incredible art.
Mhm.
And the emotional notes he's able to hit on the longer story and what he was trying to do with the actual story far outpace the incredible achievement of the movie. He's still probably my favorite movie. So I was very happy that the manga held up. It's taken me about 6 months to get through it because of how fucking heavy it ends up being.
Mhm.
And,
Yeah.
I've never watched the
and-
movie even.
and may I say, I remember watching Warriors of the Wind back in the 80s. That's kind of what got me a little bit into anime.
Blasphemy!
Hey! Blasphemy it may be.
Blasphemy!
It may be blasphemy, but it got people into anime. You can't argue that. It did.
Here, okay. So I got the thing that will beat all of them. The classic, Cutie Honey.
Never saw it.
Nope, never saw it.
I,
Remember,
I-
mine
I've seen-
begins with Pokemon.
I've seen Cutie Honey. I've seen Cutie Honey.
Go Nagi? Oh, Cody, you would love Cutie Honey. I think you would like Cutie Honey.
Okay.
Because it is the original. It is actually the original magical girl. It's actually what started the whole magical girl genre.
It is. It really is.
The only magical girl thing I've watched is
But it's
fucking
not-
Kiki's
here's the thing.
delivery service, man.
No.
It's not
Here's
my
the thing,
style.
Cody. Here's the thing. It is not for kids though.
No,
I mean, yeah, it could be different. I'm not saying, but
the fan service.
thematically, it's got to have some kind
The
Oh,
fan
of
Cutie
service.
Honey.
get me within 3 episodes, or I just don't have time.
Okay. So you know how like Sailor Moon has this whole thing about lesbianism and stuff like that. Cutie Honey takes it to the max.
Okay.
Yeah, there's because like the sexual innuendos and everything in that is just unbelievable. So trust me.
That could be hilarious. It could be hilarious, but then
Oh,
I also have access to limitless hentai. You know.
Just like me, bud. You're just like me in that aspect. I just keep fucking collecting it whenever I go to a convention, and now it's just in my fucking house.
I don't know. The internet does that for me.
Oh, you see, like, that's just the fucking icing on the cake.
Right?
I could see that, Ty. I could see that.
I love me some hentai.
Oh, yeah, hentai's good.
Really is. I'm sorry, but
So-
let's just be honest. There's nothing wrong enjoying animated titties. I'm just saying.
That.
Great.
I fully agree that with anyone who says they are the best, because they are the best.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. Gotta love the boobies.
I told you,
Gorgonite's.
Sure though.
Gorgeous titty.
Sure though. Gorgon, if you're not making notes, I know Google is or whatever, but you gotta have them. You're the one creating them.
Blue girl. You know, I'll give you some good hentai. Let's see. Let's pull some titles out and see if you love Blue Girl.
I was gonna say the blue
Seen
girl.
it. That is some weird fucking shit right there.
What? Love Blue Girl?
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably the only one I'm gonna know. But I'm gonna because most of it's cut scenes, buddy. I ain't got time for story.
You. Okay.
Bible Black.
I ain't that
Yes.
patient.
Yeah, we gotta give him Bible Black to watch.
I
God,
know.
no,
about
no,
Pigeon Black,
no,
have you ever seen
don't do
Pigeon
that
Black?
don't do that to the poor man. Don't do that to the poor man.
I already am quite aware of that one.
Okay.
Alright, what about Pigeon Blood?
Nope. Oh
I
God.
haven't heard of that one, but I'm like, oh god, no.
I want a synopsis.
Nope. Yeah, by name,
Uh.
like I think we mentioned the only two I'll know. There's one like that had something to do with Panther. I don't fucking remember the actual title, and that's in terms of actually like watching a hentai.
Viper's GTS. Have you seen Viper's GTS?
I
Oh,
have
Viper
seen that.
GTS is great.
I have seen that.
Yeah,
right
we're
here,
cool.
at Leon Lines, folks. All your favorite hentai recommendations.
Alright?
Well, now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, well, see, there had to be a reason you were here, Ty,
Oh, definitely.
and it wasn't the boy love.
Oh, it definitely was not. Dude, god damn it. We had to go there.
Well, of course. I mean, you guys drug me down the hentai road, so.
Well, you know, yeah. I was gonna say you guys are on Tapios. You know, that's Boy Love Central.
Yeah, it's one of many. A lot of webcomics, but you know, there's an audience that consumes it, so
Right?
the artist's able to get the work. You know, fuck, and able to do it their way, the way they want to, in a place. You know, that kind of shit really would not have flown not too long ago. So you know, it's all right as long as it's not evil. I'm all right with it.
Alright?
Kind of where I've turned into is long as it doesn't like mean.
Yeah. But that's got a whole market too. So you know, I just I'm able to want to just stay in my lane.
Right?
And
You
I
must-
make apocalyptic Western comics. That's my lane.
Well, Gorgonite's like, Bob, seriously, Bible Black's tame as fuck Normie for tier introduction. Like, well,
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I didn't look for that.
Yeah, it is. I definitely think I would agree with that. Bible Black is like the basics. That's what everybody has to like watch that.
And then, yeah, you'll know one way or the other.
Yep.
That sounds about right.
I'm sorry, but and I'm make sure to get close to the mic simply so Gorgonite can hear me. Traps are gay. Voodoo's gay too. Just saying.
Okay, that killed my ears.
I'm sorry.
Didn't kill my ears because I don't have them on headphones, but it would have had I had it on a headphone.
I apologize. I must practice seppuku now. Excuse me.
Yes.
Anybody read Western comics lately?
Yeah.
I've been going through The Demon by Jack Kirby. I haven't read very much Kirby at all, and the demon's always been a character, always an ancillary character, kind of DC's Ghost Rider almost.
Yep,
in terms
Etrigan.
of awareness and such. And man, it's fun to see how the master did it, because it's a Jack Kirby comic's different than any other comic. It really is. It's got a lot of the staples that people borrowed from later, but it's still its own goddamn thing, no matter how much other people borrowed from it. It's a trip. It's a hell of a trip. So that's been a lot of fun. I tore through Bone relatively recently, Jeff Smith's Bone. Hadn't read that before. I had read the last chapters because I got them randomly at one point, and starting it from the beginning, it's another wonderful journey. I like those big wide journeys. It's why I tore through Dragon Ball too, the manga, just so goddamn quickly after I got it. Because the pacing is fucking nice. The fucking show, man. Now that I've read the manga, I'm just the fucking pacing. It's ridiculous how much they try to pad out some episodes and some things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's almost depressing. And so you read the story with the Akira Toriyama pacing. It's how it's supposed to be done, and glad I did.
Hold up, Neostar Productions did the whole bit about me whispering into the mic real close. Neostar responds, "I do have headphones on."
Yeah. that's too bad.
Too bad. For me, Cody, I just because The Boys is on, and I'm finally watching the live action Preacher, so I wanted to reread them just to kind of get in the mood and stuff like that, But two good series there if you guys haven't got a chance to read them. Preacher is awesome.
They're awesome.
And then I also just finished. Give me a second here, because I'm like reading. I read like 6 things at a time. I kind of want.
That's the nice thing about comics. You're able to do that. I've always appreciated that. You're able to do that, and you can pick them up like TV shows. I love that about comics. It's a lot harder to do that with a novel.
Yeah, the other one I just. I just finished my Mercy Sparks. I got my digital editions in from Josh Baylock. But I just got my trades in, but I had read the digital ones already, so I just reread that. So if you haven't read that series, that's basically about a demon girl that Hell sends to go after rogue Seraphim.
Cool.
So some good, some good stuff out of there's still a lot of good stuff out there. That's not mainstream, Marvel, DC, and stuff like that. If you know how to look for them,
I was about to say I'm kind of the normie here when it comes to comics because I'm reading 2 right now. I just got my last 2 issues of Unnatural, and I still haven't finished them for some reason. But I'm also reading Absolute Carnage, and I love it.
Oh,
okay,
Absolute
Johnny
Carnage
Cage
is good.
Doing good again, huh? That's good. I've heard different things with Don lately, but I'm glad you like it.
What?
I'm hearing different things with Cates, the writer, lately. So I'm just glad to hear that event's kicking off all right.
It's Absolute Carnage is the only Marvel comic that I'm like really into right now, and my favorite part about it is not the first typo in it, so I get bragging rights for that one. But at every page.
Neostar says I had gotten a copy of a complete collection of Bone. I had so many comics to catch up on.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, that's my thing. I don't know if I've ever been like. The only time I think I was current with anything was way back in OG Civil War. That I read and consumed every bit of that storyline I could. And then I followed through Dark Reign and Siege and shit. I kind of muddled there. Didn't read everything in those events. But yeah, really, I don't think I've ever been current with a book. I've always been a back issue reader or finding something older and obscure that's right up my alley. And a lot of that probably has to deal with I've never had a local comic shop near me, and for most of my life I didn't have
that'll-
internet. So there wasn't really
That
access
was my
to
issue
comics.
until recently.
Well, I was always, reading like mainly the '80s comics. For instance, for me, that to me like '80s, early '90s was when comics had it, like mainstream comics anyway, had its heyday. You know what I mean? If you ask me, like, I liked those stories best, especially because Chris Claremont always knew what he was doing when he wrote.
Well, here's the thing about speaking of comics. I was just updating something on Hunters on Tapastic, and you can now mark your comics as Boy Love.
I thought that was kind of already a thing happening on Tapastic.
Not officially. So originally you had to do it as a sub thing, but now it can be your main tag.
Cool.
Well,
So doesn't matter what the genre is, you'll just know there's some boys falling in love and doing some.
Yeah, like that can be your main genre now.
Wow.
Something interesting.
They fought for it, didn't they? There you
They
go.
really did.
All I
There
gotta
you
say
go.
is heresy.
Almost thinking I should
Heresy
buy a little
forward.
marketing and just mark these things as that, and then let the tag do the work.
This isn't Boy Love. This is bullshit. That was false advertising.
No, this is a boy that I love. Isn't that the definition?
You know it's not.
I do. I do.
Getting all indignant for no reason.
By the way, to let you guys know, I'm actually working on the lettering for Sporkman.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear what I'm trying to do with my new lettering kit?
Nope.
Ooh, lettering kit.
Yes, it's a cheap $15 one. I'm learning how to make like actual letters and whatnot. Simply so, like right now the main thing I'm working on is the font I'm going to be using for like the NPCs in Nephilim's End. Like, then I'm going to, once I get that down, I'm going to get the font I want for like the main character and all and everyone else basically. Just have, this way we can have individual fonts, or I should say I can, that line up with everyone's personality and allows me a bit, I guess you could say, the freedom to have the fonts be exactly what I want and easy to work with.
Yeah, see, I had toyed. I think I did do that with through. I think it's called Clip Studio now, but what I still have is called Manga Studio. I letter through that, and I don't remember if I pulled that off. I don't think I did. I think we ended up. I was doing different fonts for each character, and overall, for the long piece, it ended up being kind of funky. Just because there wasn't a flow and your eyes had to keep changing on how you read things. I don't think, it doesn't look like I did that with the final Cactus. And I know I did that only once in Jack, but it's the difference between telepathy and speaking. So in Jack number 2, so that we did that in. But besides that, I haven't played with fonts much.
You're gonna be upgrading to Clip Studio by chance?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I was about to say, they have a lot of new, like, lettering things that you might be interested in.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised because this one, much you can do. We actually, Cactus actually did most of, if not all of I didn't do many. He did most of the bubbles himself, so we had to kind of rework the fonts in the bubbles.
Yeah.
So it also helped give it that fan translation of a manga feel, though, so it's for me.
It basically just helps add to the aesthetic you're trying to give.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
no, and font change can certainly do that.
Well, that's why I've been tweeting out a bunch of fucking photos of just letters. Because I've been working on trying to get it, and I was like, I finally got it! The lettering's perfect! Realized I forgot the lowercase g. Damn it!
Don't want to forget your lowercase g.
This is bullshit! bullshit gets mad.
Yep, you don't wanna do that.
Are you a big G or a low G?
Why you gotta rub it in like that, man? Why you gotta rub it in like that? We all know I'm obviously not the big G. The big G was there. Little G, though. Just saying. Just saying.
Just saying the thing.
I'm just
Oh.
saying.
I would have read that.
Waka waka.
Waka waka.
Waka
Oh,
waka.
right as you said Waka Waka, I scrolled past Pac-Man stuff on my Twitter thing.
That is hilarious.
That was really funny.
See?
Only thing better would have been Fozzie Bear, but I'll take it. Waka
Also
waka.
good.
Fozzie Wuzzy was a bear. Fozzie Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy Wuzzy Fozzie Fozzie Wuzzy.
He really wasn't. And that bitch still owes me $300. Keeps talking
Oh.
about how, he's just been going through some things lately. Like, man, I don't care. But
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, but Fuzzy Wuzzy's dead.
that's why he's been ducking and diving me?
Yeah, he's just straight up dead, man.
I am so shocked.
So, do we have any questions for Cody?
Do you? Is a great question right there. I personally do not have anything to ask myself.
Really? You don't have anything to ask yourself?
Well, I have many things, ongoing questions that I am constantly working through, but only I can answer those. So it's pointless to ask myself those on air.
Fair enough.
Are they life questions?
Yeah, somewhat life questions. I mean, that's the ongoing, right? There's a few big ones that you're always asking yourself if you're a conscious person, anyway.
See, I guess that just means all that's really left is the last two questions I have written down, which is, how's your life at Wicked treating you? Are you enjoying being a proud member of Wicked Comics?
I've been it's not no. It's absolutely not no. It's been a rough sea, particularly with the printer these last couple months, and that's not all on Wicked. It's mostly on the printer, and it's somewhat on me. But it's been harder than it had to be, but that doesn't mean it's been bad. And I am proud to stand alongside a lot of the other Wicked publishing creators, like Sporkman here. Dan Sacro was in the chat earlier. Gorgonite is part of the Mythoverse. He's writing something with them. It'll take a while to get to, but he's part of that. I am really proud of what they've been able to do, and I really think they're going to be able to grow and improve. But there's been a few blows I didn't need to take, and a few I should have given. It's always a learning experience. And I am proud to still be able to consider myself published. I'm proud that we are able to get these books out. I am very proud of what they've been able to do for me once they've had the books. Proud of the quality of the product we've been able to do. I'm super stoked I didn't have to deal with any of that shit personally, let alone if I would have even had the funds to do so. So it's complicated, but I am very proud to be a part of that, and even more so that I am considered the flagship title. So I've been trying to do my best to respect that and to carry forward all of their good work for everybody else that they're doing, and the future is very bright.
All right. And then the last one. What books are you looking forward to?
What am I looking forward to?
Yep.
Just in general?
Yeah, just in general, what indie books has caught your eye that you're like,
Oh, okay, indie books. Gotcha. What am I looking forward to get delivered? Well, Sporkman. I want to see this new lettering and colors. Excited. I've through my black and white copies quite a few times. Always a fun read. I'm looking forward to Jack number 2, getting to folks and hearing if my writing sucks. I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to Rags finishing how that arc, and I'm looking forward to whatever they consider to do next. I believe it's Mr. Lister, Sister Fister, but we'll see. I'm looking forward to Little Girl Lethal quite a bit. It's been a little bit quiet on Slick Jimmy's end there for a little bit, but I've seen in progress. He's shown off what the bitchin' wraparound cover looks like. I've seen pages, I've seen lettering. It's a really pretty book. It's going to be a heavy book. I'm looking forward to diving into what he's trying to do with it.
You and me both. You and me both.
Looking forward to the Mythoverse, of course, very, very much so. Personal bias towards Adobe Kroger Dame Commander. I just love the fucking art in that.
Our boy Troy. Wanpool.
Yeah, waiting for Wanpool 2. I'm waiting for fucking Wanpool 2. Very hardcore. Wanpool 1, hell of a journey, hell of a ride, and I can't wait to get the physicals. That's the big thing. Reading digitally is one thing, and it's possible. It's just not always pleasurable. I don't have a tablet, so I end up reading either off my phone or off the desktop.
It's not the same, man. It's just not the
It's
same.
not the same. It's not at all.
To quote the late great Stan Lee, comics are like boobs.
Yep.
Yeah, you can enjoy looking at them on a computer screen, but you still want to hold them in your hand.
Yeah, it's one of his.
Did you really say that?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. That's one of
Wow.
his quotes when he was asked if digital would overtake or whatever. It's a great quote. Very New Yorker quote. And there's a lot of indie projects like Mary Sue. Really, I can't wait for that. But a lot of these are pretty off in the distance, and so I'm not so much like pounding at the day to get them more. I'm gonna be so excited to be able to receive them. It's less of I'm not especially since I've been in the trenches doing what they're doing. I'm my patience my patience level is very high. So I'm not. They slip to the back of my mind until they're time to show up, and then it's a hell of a thing when they do.
Nice.
And there's quite a few other projects there. Death Sworn, I haven't backed this version yet. I want to see what he does with this now new book 1 format. I don't know if I know he's reworking a lot of the art, so I don't know if he's also changing up the story or not. I have the Revolver Comics print of both issues, and it's a fun ride. It's a fun ride with Death Sworn, so I'm excited to continue to see his success. Vince, I want to see what he comes out with that Hellseekers from Alterna. The pages and panels he's been showing off are incredible. Bruce Pattonod's going to get on the wreck again here at some point, but for now, there's not too much there. I'm just going through Teams Ironverse, make sure I plug everybody. Stephen Cannon, of course, Cactus Coyote. That's the number one book I'm looking forward to. No fucking question. But we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping with the extension and with the extra marketing, we can get there. Jack was a fight to the finish line too, even though we had so much heat and so much passion and love and friendship behind getting that book marketed. It was still a fight, and so I believe a lot of our titles will do that till they get established and people really want to read the next one. I think Jack 2 is going to do that.
All I gotta say is, you really showed that friendship is magic with, Jack Irons issue 2.
Some fucking how we got that book out, guys. I still don't fucking know how. I showed up at a hard time, put a lot of effort into it, wasn't an asshole. Found a lot of other people who aren't assholes.
Wait, you mean to tell me you didn't have drama and assholiness sell your comic? Who would've thought?
Not as far as I could tell. Maybe somebody was doing that on the sly. I didn't know. But no, as far as I know, no. Surprisingly, it was the interaction with the creators and fans, and that was it. That's all that was needed at that point in time. At this point in time, it's pretty fucking loud out there, so I don't blame a lot of people for trying to be as loud as they can to they continue to make the numbers they're making. But doesn't mean I like the environment that creates, and a lot of people don't. So they're getting a smaller and smaller market share for more and more effort. That's a lot of businesses end up falling into that loop, and eventually it's self-destructive. So you got to find a self-sufficient perpetual machine, and we're still working on building that. We're still working on building that with IRONVERSE Comics, and we're getting there. We're getting there, one step at a time.
Exactly. You're also, it helps that you're also putting out good, soy-free, reticuloid-free American comics. Just
It
saying.
isn't. Well, it is an American comic by creator, but it is basically our works are multicultural. They are diverse. We're not fighting for that. A lot of people are going to look at it and see the opposite too, which is going to be fun. I'm hoping we hit mainstream at that point, so I actually get that awareness. That would be great because the quality will speak for itself at that point instead of me having to, hey, look at how good this is every fucking time to get a sale. That would be great.
You just killed the joke, you motherfucker.
I murder jokes. That's again butchering. We've spoke on this already.
Yes, I know. It's that.
In all honesty, I am probably the most earnest motherfucker you'll ever meet, which also ends up turning out to be a lot of gullibility. So I fall right into things, and I continue on that track. And I will honestly admit when I am fucked with, but it's easy to do so, and it's easy for me to do the opposite because I don't know what's going on. especially as much moonshine in as I am.
Oh, dude.
That'll happen.
There is no need to try to hide or have shame in your game. There's no shame in it. It is merely your game.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Also, you gotta use what you can, do what you can. Just don't be an asshole if you can help it. I mean, there's very little reason to. If somebody's being an asshole to you, there's no.
There's lots of
really
reasons to be an asshole. It's just there's no right reason to be an asshole.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like, okay, needlessly an asshole. No right reason to be needlessly an asshole.
Yeah, and even then, there's one of the big statements in Jack number 2 is motherfuckers telling you there's only one way to do something. I believe there's an infinite amount of possibilities every time you're trying to make a choice or do something, and you just try to grasp for the ones that you can see and work for. And that means that there's never just one. If you could only see one, but it doesn't mean there's only just one. Anywho, on that, did you have one more question? I think we're getting close to the 2-hour mark.
That
so
was
if
the
you
last
want
question.
That was the last question, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna shill then one last damn time,
You
folks.
can chill as many times as you want. I had plans to run this roughly, 2 to 3 hours. So.
Okay. Well, if there's an AMA in chat, if you guys want to ask me anything, I'll hang out for another hour. Absolutely. But otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and plug some things. I've been doing it this whole time, but this one's going to be a lot more direct because I'm going to be shooting links into chat.
Well, hey guys, I'm going to bow out here, so I thank you very much for letting me stay on here. But my ass has got to work early in the morning, so.
Well, there you go. Hopefully the rest of you can get there too.
Oh, show where they can find you, Spork. Show where they can get a hold of more good quality Spork, man.
Merchandise.
Exactly.
All right. So, hey, guys. So you can follow me and my partner, Jedi Raylan, on our YouTube channel, Sporkman Studios, or you can follow us on Twitter at Jedi Raylan and Sporkman Studios. Also, if you are interested, we do actually have a comic available already, Sporkman Goes to Japan, done by released by Wicked Publishing. It is available for ordering on their website. But if you want some T-shirts or posters, you can go to getspork.com and you can pick those things up there. Also, some quick news on other thing. Eric just ordered the blanks for the people who back at the figure level. So he's going to get ready to start on those. Unfortunately, we did have to get our T-shirts redone because the printer kind of screwed up on the printing of the T-shirts, so they have to be redone. So unfortunately, But yeah, we got Sporkman merch there, Neo Star.
Nice.
So getspork.com.
That's right. Get sporked.
No, just get Spork.
No.
SPORK.
I was trying to add emphasis, like, get sporked.
So I'm going to bow out, guys. So have a great night, Cody. As always, Ty, as always.
Absolutely.
And, same thing there, Bob.
Spork.
I love being on with you guys, and we'll have to do this again.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, brother.
Love y'all.
Right, too.
Yes, mi amigo.
All right, I'm gonna go and chat real quick because there's a couple things that are kind of neat. Let me see. Let me go up here. Gorgon Knight needs to get caught up on all these comics. I'm in that boat too. Me, it's mostly trade paperbacks I gotta get through. Also, him binge watching all season specials and movies of Lupin. I can't stand their loose art style when they got cheap. Gorgon Knight. There's a period of Lupin that's just so hard for me to watch, but every other period and the movies are fucking incredible. So enjoy that. Nerd, you're not the big G, but you are the big J, as in jelly. I guess you're jelly. Quotes me as saying it's possible. It's not always pleasurable. I'll take that quote. That's one of the last, least odd ones. Bob, you're in no position to judge someone butchering jokes. Ouch. Neostar, here we go, though. Imagination is our greatest weapon. With it, we can find new methods and ideas, and thus new outcomes. Absolutely, that's where it all starts, where everything has started. So deal with it. Then IRONVERSE Comics says, Kex Coyote hit the scene with the hottest gamble in indie comics. You can get yours at that link.
Exactly. Do it.
Bob, there's no right reason to be an asshole. Brian built an entire career following from doing just that. Neostar, he had to charge his phone. No worries. Then we were trying to sell the Sporkman merchandise, which go get yourself some Spork at getspork.com. Take care, Sporkman. Get the Super Boot Spork today. Super Boot Spork. That would be interesting. Giant bowls, I guess, would be required. And a lot of hunger. Yeah, that's doable. Bob, Chuck, Cody, the holy trinity of murdering jokes and joke setups. Well, I don't mind doing so. Sometimes you just need to murder a joke or joke setting. Just needs to be done.
Hey, I am proud to be a part of that holy trinity.
It's not bad. All right, well, I'm around here. I guess I'll try and drink this faster. See if that'll make anything more entertaining. Any questions in chat about whatever? I'm open for it. No worries about content. I just may not answer the way you would like, but I will answer the question. And I won't be deflecting.
I have a question
there we go.
for you, Cody.
Already, okay.
So, did all copies of Jack 2 get shipped out yet, or just like most?
I don't even know if it's most. I think we're doing them in batches. It's half of Wicked. He's doing the fulfillment, so he's putting them all together and then shipping them. And he had to go get different mailers for the 11x17. Don't have to fold them. See, I went with the idea that when they would include posters in comic books, usually it would be in like a self-contained little baggie in the 90s, and then it'd be folded in the back.
Yep.
So I was like, that's fine. People, old school comic fans will be fine with that. But so he sent out a few of those, and then he ended up feeling that might not be the best way to present these prints to folks. And I agreed if that's what he was thinking. So that put a small hindrance. He had already shipped some issues. On Monday, and I believe has been shipping each day this week. But I am unsure. I believe the biggest wave will probably be this weekend and going through next week. But I don't have the exact position of where we are with that at the moment. I just know a good amount have been sent out on Monday.
Well,
Gotcha. Yeah, I was curious about that. I'm very excited to get this book in my hands.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm hoping you enjoy it. It's I wouldn't say it's fun. There's a good dark humor gag in there. But
I'm all for that.
it's a really it's an aesthetically pleasing book. It's very pretty. It's very heavy on everything that's going on. I think the world, personally, I'm making it, so of course it's not biased at all. But personally, the world that we're creating is exactly what I've wanted out of a IP for fucking ever. And this issue really does help establish what we're trying to do to show you what I'm talking about there.
How many pages?
There's some good moments. There's a lot of good moments, and it establishes. Again, it's a real pretty book. I just hope my writing is entertaining and it feels like it was a worthy investment. Following issue number 1. It's 32 pages of story, 4 pages shipped. So there's 12 extra pages. There's the 6 pinups, and then there's 6 pages of concept art stuff.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So it's a fatty. We had to get different bags too. I had to talk to Wicked. They shipped my print in a small bag, so it was kind of squishy for how big a comic this is. You know, it's an old school Marvel annual sized comic with a little less story content on that, but not quite.
For me, it makes me think of the old Wizard magazine where you'd get it and it'd be so packed full of goodies. You just kind of like, things are falling out of the bag, and I'm not complaining about it.
That's my hope. There's gonna be there should be, you know, you're expecting just the book. You're getting a pinup and something Cactus Coyote related as well.
Awesome.
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, it's a little thing, but it can be used as a few different things. So maybe people will really like it. But I think it was cool. It was a good last minute idea from Dollar Coins, the creator mangaka, and it was a good idea. We were able to cobble it together in time that we weren't even late on shipping out the books because of it, which was killer. It was very last minute. It was like Saturday night we came up with it. Monday that was cool.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm hoping that sparks some more interest. The book being longer allowed me to do a lot more. Maxie's art style in the 4 years, at this point nearly 5 years between when we did the line art for issue number 1 and releasing this book. So I guess it would be about 4 years when he started doing it. It's changed. It's the same artist. He just found where he needs to cut corners and where he can add different expressions. It's the growth of an artist, you'll see, and I hope you'll see the same in my writing. Issue 1's writing's a little simplistic every time I read it than I'd like. Issue 2 isn't convoluted, but it's more expressive, and I hope that goes with the art because the art is fucking incredible. He got way more dynamic, and it's less stereotypical comic book feel, which some people really like, some people don't. So we'll see.
I was about to say that really worked with Jack. I felt.
Yeah, no, the last few pages of Jack when he's killing the
those
bot,
last few pages.
with those panels, that's very classic comic book kind of layouts and stuff, and it worked great. There's a few like that. It's something I'm really curious for more people to get their eyes on it, so I can hear feedback. Because with Jack 1, I didn't get the feedback I would have liked in terms of what worked and what didn't, even from reviews, which is a trip, and I've had quite a few. So I want to learn something. And I'm hoping there's something to learn there, and that people enjoy the experience that we gave them, and that they want more. That's all you can hope.
I already want more.
Well, I can tell you, I wanted more Jack Irons, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, good.
I am all about this character and what you're building right now. Like, I think it's absolutely amazing that you've gotten even this far. I know we're not like.
No, that's where I am, dude.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
worry about it. You can look back and be like, yeah, that's pretty far, and the mountain's still, way ahead of you. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. That's another thing that's carried me through some of the harder times in indie comics recently. It's just because I haven't gotten the negativity, which you want a certain amount because there's something to learn there, but.
It's not, not the type of negativity that you'd expect to see.
Yeah, that's for one. Particularly making a Western in the modern day and how I am tweaking things. I expect somebody to get their knickers in a twist here pretty soon.
My knickers are in a twist
the more exposure
already.
it gets. Well, hopefully it's a pleasurable twist in your case.
I was just about to say mine are in a twist, but I like that.
Yeah, there you go. See, but no, more or so you have no right to be writing this way, kind of in a twist. And I don't believe any of that has any truth to it, so it's going to be easy to overcome. But I see the thematics I'm exploring, and I see how they are problematic to a lot of people these days, and fuck them.
Exactly.
I feel that.
I've got something to say. I've got a unique world and story to put out there, and I am pretty goddamn sure people are going to keep liking it the more we dive into it.
Oh yeah, and it's not just fuck 'em, it's butt fuck 'em. Get it right. No.
Nah, you can take your version of fucking.
Just saying.
That's fine with me. You have the liberty to pick the kind of.
No. And I'm not saying the nice romantic, hey, we're doing this the right way. No. Rage, 10-foot dildo. I'm just saying.
That's not where I'm coming from. I'll take you out, wine and dine you. Maybe you'll like me more afterwards.
Who cares?
No question. I'll talk to those people. I love people. I hate people. I hate people very much, but I love people.
No. I get it.
There's
funny.
infinite potential in every person, and unless they want to lock themselves into a set track, then I'm usually able to flip them around. The incidents I've had to deal with literally lasted an hour because I flipped them the fuck around. So it's I'm usually a pretty likable guy. You really have to look. You really gotta look hard to find something to hate him. And the only thing I can think of in our project is exploring so many cultural themes, and I'm half white. But we'll see how the fuck that goes. Fuck them.
Well then, if you're only half white, then you're only half right. I'm just saying the whiteness does count against you. I'm just saying.
No, I know. Apparently. Funny thing is, it
really doesn't. Like,
exactly
what you want, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's where I'm at with Hunters. Is like, if I want to write about a fucking dude who's about to fucking shoot himself, like, I'm gonna write that because that's how the character's feeling. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, that's the point of art. It's expression of something that you cannot communicate verbally, or that you're unwilling to because it's just not going to be communicated correctly. And so you put it into something else, and then people either resonate with it and want to engage with it, or they don't, and that's fine. It shouldn't exist. But I'm very proud of what we're doing, and I think
you're
gonna take
the good fight. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, and I don't
fighting the good fight in comics.
Yeah.
Really.
There's a couple good fights going on, honestly, and both of them are being fought very poorly. Very poorly.
That's sad.
both in quality and just in kindness and communication. And they both have value, and I honestly am fighting both the fights, but that's the worst place to be. So we'll see if I can continue, and if our work can continue to evolve and thrive in that. Cactus Coyote really it's a manga by all accounts. Both in its original incarnation, which you can read free on Tommy's, but also this Western adaptation that's more of a kind of an official quality product. It's still very silly. It borrows a lot from those themes. It's also got that multicultural bit to it. Basically, all of IRONVERSE comics has that.
Yeah.
And
well, it shows in their designs, in the characters' designs that you've shown off.
And that's been part of the bit, is that they're where I'm from, New Mexico, particularly where I am, specifically where I live, but basically around this southwest field, so many cultures came together in so many awful ways, but in ways that came out with something extremely unique. I believe the Chinese use the term wabi-sabi, when east meets west. There was a lot of that. And that's something we're trying to do. IRONVERSE Comics wants to be the weird Western One Piece. We want to be that successful. We want to convey stories and emotion, such strength, and to continue on for as long as possible. because there's infinite potential in the universe we're building and each of the characters we're trying to. But I also understand that you don't always get what you want. But we're building in the ways out. And honestly, I am just trying to build a career. If it continues with Jack Irons, that's what I want it to be. I don't see much other paths, and I don't see Jack going anywhere as long as I have the ability to put him out. But I also don't want to shoehorn everything into a single basket, no matter how big and wide and how many people are involved in that. So you've got to be adaptable. And so it's hard not to paint a target on yourself while also engaging on both sides of a very unkind cultural rift. And I'm just doing my best to make sure that people understand that those limits, these giant fears that are put out to keep both of those voices down, they don't fucking exist. It's just the cacophony above the heads of them arguing. And you can exist outside of that. That's what we've been trying to do. It's so far successful. Year and a half in. We'll see what year two's like, you know?
Definitely.
I also actually had a question about your campaign you're running right now.
Oh, please.
So I saw that it's lagging behind a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you if a certain point, are you going to extend it?
Well, I spoke on that earlier. Our plan is that we only started it with 35 days. Getting dollar coins to this point took a little bit, and so we wanted to give a judgment to see if it's dead in the water or not before we, commit to a full 2 months. But with Jack, I think it was a good amount of time before it got rolling too. So I think at this point, especially since we're doing this extra promotion with the Jack Irons 2 physical issues, we're going to try and extend. If we'll go the full 25 extra days we have, I don't know. You can only extend once. So he and I will have to have a good discussion about that come that time. We have, it's either 9 or 10 days left on it at the moment. 10 days left on
10
it.
days.
And so, we'll see that about a from now, next week, about Thursday or Friday next week, whether or not we feel like extending it. The most likely, yes, we will, just because of this extra promotion. We would like most of the cards and the extra stuff that we sent out to be to everybody, so that the Jack backers, if they so choose, can go and check out the campaign and see if it's up their alley, because it is a different vibe. It's definitely a different vibe from Jack, but they do complement each other very well. So yeah, my hope is, we'll probably extend it and we'll be fighting to the end for that goal. Yeah, maybe we'll luck out along the way. Jack did.
Oh, really? I thought Jack hit like right away.
No, first 2 months I tried it, I got $10. Then I ran it the second time, and about 3 weeks in, Wicked Publishing talked about printing. And then I was able to get notice off of leveraging social media properly. And so yeah, it was
Really?
man.
I thought
Yeah.
Jack hit right away.
Yeah, I'm glad we gave that impression, but no, sir. The comic I'm most impressed that hit like right away was Wanpool. He hit his 10 grand goal that fucking day, but with that, it actually did not track like consistently after that point, which was a trip. It means well, it doesn't mean much, but it's an interesting observation that can also happen. That you can hit really fucking hard, and then there's not no momentum, but there's significantly less momentum behind it than you would assume. Jack, it was the other way around. It hit nothing, and then it gained momentum, and then snowballed, and it still didn't get this massive amount of momentum, but it got enough to get funded and over. And fuck yeah, we were able to hit 2 stretch goals. We got everything colored. We got shit printed. We got we got the books out to people. We got the pinups. But Jack was a bit of a fight. The main thing that might make you think that way is that I always try to present the dream in a positive light. if you start getting down on your progress, you're just going to spin in a circle. So you gotta, even when the chips are down and your hand's shitty, you play what you can and you act as if it's going to work. Because even if it doesn't, it's still better to be going towards it positively. And I'm pretty goddamn sure Cactus can make a save. And so we're gonna be pushing it as hard as we can in the time we have. And if you folks enjoy what we're doing in IRONVERSE Comics, if you folks want to see more of the Cactus Coyote tone, a little bit more wackiness, a little bit more of the IRONVERSE's space, the politics. If you want to see more of a down on his luck alien shape-shifting garbage disposal, I don't think you're gonna get that anywhere else. So come to us. We'll give it to you.
Exactly. And then some. We will make sure that not only are all your wildest comic book dreams tantalated, but your need for westerns is satiated, and you walk away wanting to start lassoing cattle and getting into gunfights with a six-shooter.
That would be good. Sadly, it's the Western themes in Jack are almost. I mean, there's a Dead Man's character, and that's the core essential part of a Western. But it's more aesthetics than it is some other things. But that's not true throughout all of it. But I would say if you're looking for a regular Western tone, you're not going to find it in Jack. Jack is a philosophical exploration piece, a science fiction philosophical exploration piece in a cowboy hat. This is what it is.
Exactly.
It's an attempt to understand the totality of human experience's weight in a single character that cannot end it. That's what Jack is. Cactus Coyote is a manic child that was warped by the universe he was birthed in. He was a pure being, and he was repurposed for some horrible shit. And he's out there, he escaped, and he's out there trying to find his new place in the galaxy. And he's naive, but he's streetwise. He's naive because he's pretty fucking young. He's got like dog years. He's about an adult, but he's probably only about 7 or 8 years in the books.
He's really only like 7 years old.
Yeah, no, he's a little thing. But they're the shapeshifters. They're pudgy little selves. Their world and everything existed on different terms than a lot of others. And
Wait
so,
a minute. Is that what those little cat things are?
Yeah, he's one of them. That's his race.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the pudgy little dudes, those are his race, and they're actually antithesis of the Horsemen.
Didn't know that.
In terms of what we're doing with IRONVERSE Comic. And I can't wait to explore more of that because he fucking nailed how to do it. Their storylines, the little pudgers, their names, how they interact with all the characters of IRONVERSE Comics. It's a hell of a journey. I'm very proud I'm able to read, but other people should be too. And we're working on it. We're working hard for it. The little shapeshifters they're a hell of a thing. There's about 6 pillars. There's the 4 horsemen. There's the Anu Confederation, which is the government, and then there's the shapeshifters and the outlaws, and basically everybody else. But I cannot wait to get that out. One of the things One Piece did really well was forging a very cohesive, very strong sense of universe. That's our biggest goal with these characters, to do the same, because if you can do that, depending on the type of writer you are, for me, I need a solid built something like that, and then I can just let the characters' well-defined personalities play around in it, and then I can see what story I want to build. Dollar Coins, he's more of a planner, so he's able to build those pillars that I can play around in. And we've done a lot. We've got a lot to offer, and quality, and I certainly hope folks want to continue on the journey. Issue 2 will help tell that. The end of Cactus Coyotes campaign will help tell that. Jack number 3 will help tell that. but these are all future steps. And as long as you folks keep enjoying what we're doing, even if it takes a bit here and there, and if you're patient, we will deliver something that you cannot get anywhere else.
Right.
No mainstream company would ever produce this. Certainly
they're
not to the
scared.
scale I'm trying to do. Even the second tier, like Image, Dynamite, Dark Horse, I don't think they would try this either, unless I can prove what we're doing has gas, and if it does, then we don't need them anyway.
Like I said, because
So-
they're scared. They're scared. They're scared of originality.
A little bit, yeah. You got to try the safe bets. I understand, especially when, say, you have 100 employees. You're the one putting food on their tables, you know? I get it. That basic level, I 100% get that. I'm trying to do that myself. Far fewer people. And so you've got to balance that. And comic books in particular at the moment are like one of the hardest things to want. They're the easiest for risk to be made. It's one of the hardest for anybody to be willing to put the money behind, because the money just isn't there like it was, say, in the early '90s. It's just not there. The awareness of comic books is higher, and the money and sales aren't there.
Hey, if Wicked is able to pull an Alterna and start getting books everywhere, like on the shelves everywhere, I think they'd be able to stand out. They just got to follow Alterna's lead. Like
That's kind of there's a lot there, and you are 100%. I'm really excited. Today, Peter announced, Mr. Sinetti, he announced alternate distribution. He had bought the website. He's got the plans going. You can guarantee Wicked is looking into that as the other forms of distribution, and getting these books on shelves for comic fans to go see is, to put it mildly, atrocious.
Yeah.
It's from what I've heard, it ends up being pretty inept unless you're the ones throwing huge amounts of money, flooding the shelf. And it really does not give any chance for a fresh breath of air. It strangles all of that creativity that's out there nowadays, and all the passion that's out there nowadays, by not being able to get passive engagement. So you have to actively promote your book. You have to actively sell it one person at a time. You have to actively maintain a personality and a brand that people want to interact with.
very true.
It's a hell of a thing, and that's the same thing with sales. Period. Any kind of brand sales, it's the same. But with Diamond in particular, there's a stranglehold there that they might not even, but they are practically forced into, and so it's again, it's taking risks and being the artist, or it's putting food on the table. And so, both choices are good. Just if you let one take over for too long, something bad's gonna.
Can I make my suggestion? It's a simple.
No.
It's a simple. Like, if you ask me, the simplest fix for the whole situation would be all these starter indie companies pulling their resources and getting behind Alterna. I think Peter Simetti is our best bet. He's going to be our generation's Stan Lee, whether he wants to admit it or not. He's going to be, because of the fact that if he can get everyone behind him and pushing all these books, like they're I guess you could kind of put it kind of like how Vertigo is under DC. Like, we have all the books under Alterna technically, even though they're their own thing, but taking advantage of Alterna's distribution network.
So there's a big legal thing here. Live stream. I recommend you folks go check it out. Anybody listening, it's a wonderful live about indie comics distribution and what his plans are. But legally, Alterna Distribution and the Printer Partnership Program and Alterna Comics each are their own separate entities. They have to be. So anything that's going to be distributed later by Alterna Distribution will be its own thing. It's just distribution. It's a Diamond distribution. That's all it is. So there's no Alterna comic label enforced. There's no none of that. You will be having the Alterna label on the website that's promoting your books, just because it's Alterna Distribution.
Yeah.
But you won't have the affiliation with alternative comics legally with the publishing wing, and that's also very cool because a lot of people want to carve out their own paths.
Yeah,
I'm one of those.
I-
I believe Wicked is one of those.
definitely.
But I agree that he's forging a hell. It works out because it can get so much new original art to the market. It could breathe new life into what is dead. Basically, what is it's twitching like hell, trying to
it's on life
struggle
support.
to air again.
It's on life support. Like,
Yeah,
like,
and
I view the indies, like, if done right, if DC and Marvel want to get involved in the culture war and everything, let them. Because you know what? One of the things, and it's one of the things I'm kind of proud of myself, I haven't done culture war talk, politics talk. We've kept it about comics and comics and what is it,
accoutrement.
no, that's propane accessories. So the comic book and comic book accessories.
Comic book accessories. Yeah, like store folders and shit. But yeah, no, we've done real well there. I'm I'm not apolitical, but I come from the school where politics was something deeply personal, and so you weren't yelling it to the skies expecting only positive feedback.
And that's why I said we're not going political. We're not going there. But my whole point with that statement was DC and Marvel wants to get the fact that me, one of the most political guys, don't want to turn this political, wants to keep it about comic books, video games, things and such. Think about if I'm the guy who's into that stuff, doesn't want it. Think about how your average normie is. If I'm tired of it, they must be tired of it even more so. So if they, the big, comic book companies want to keep making these dumb decisions and getting involved with the culture war, then that just means that the indies could be smart and be like, we're not doing that. We're just going to give you comic books. Good, soy-free, reticuloid-free, proud American patriot comic books.
Well, I sure hope so. Might be some reticuloids in Jack. I don't know.
But you get the
point. A lot of species out there. A lot of species out there in the galaxy.
You get the point.
But and I mean, hey, there may be a soy-based species. I don't know. But the main bit is that I'm here for the comics. I always will be. That's what I enjoyed. It was something that became deeply personal to me, and even more so over the last year to make this thing I had a dream, of doing a decade ago, or probably about 11 years. Actually, other people can see it. Other people can consume it. That's the dream of art.
Right.
If I can make enough money to continue doing that, great. If I can make enough money to actually make a living off, then I am just gonna be so happy.
Right.
But the environment has a lot of adjustments to go through. The next 10 years, just overall, the environment has a lot of adjustments to do. It's unsustainable how it is, both in comics and culturally. It's just unsustainable.
Yeah, it's like, dude.
Something's got to bend or break.
See,
and when it does, it might be rough as fuck, but it will lead to something different. So I'm happy for that.
Right.
I just, in a way, we're trying to be a part of that. All art is, viewed by the observer. So if they want to see it as political, it's going to be political. My intention isn't to do anything but express my again, philosophical exploration piece on the nature of life and how it relates to death, with the inability of death to continue. Yet reincarnation was a major theme.
Yeah, but
it's a confusing, heady topic. I wanted to jump into that as hardcore as I can, while giving you an entertaining character and universe.
Oh yeah. No.
And we're building off of those. And I think folks are especially nowadays. I can't imagine how hard it is to get a kid to read these days. I'm not around kids enough for that, but I couldn't imagine. And then comic books, at least you have the bright pictures and interesting subjects. But now what you go to for the store, it's not that fun. It might be goofy, it might be silly, but that doesn't equal fun.
Right.
That doesn't equal growth. That doesn't equal interest. there has to be something more to it. And
Well,
the main things where we want to hit these topics very hard, but we're going to try and give you something beautiful or something, something to ease what we're trying to do, because personally I know readers want smarter books. They might not want them shoved down their throats. They might not want
well,
up their ass intelligence, where you're specifically saying only one way. It's one of my bits. There's no only one way.
And that's one of the things, like, I guess you could say, is becoming the big turnoff, which is why you're trying to get those people who have walked away from comics, to get them to come back and be like, yes, the mainstream may be, not worth a hill of beans, but hey, man, check out my comic here. You got issues 1 and 2. So it's basically a space cowboy that's been alive since like the 1800s, 1700s, shit like that. He is a engineer. He cannot die. He is everything. This is philosophical. This is everything that you need right now in your life. You will be happy.
I don't know if it's everything anybody needs. Nobody needs more depression, but some people need to know that they're not the only ones dealing with these very powerful topics, that humanity's been dealing with them for fucking ever, and we probably will be until we give up the fight one way or another. And that's part of it too. I'm happy to be able to get art out there. I'm happy that people actually enjoy it. They wanted to fund it. I'm just so damn proud of the folks I've met along the way and have grown alongside, learned from. And it's only been a year and a half, and I'm not going fucking anywhere.
Oh yeah.
I've been tested quite a bit. I'm not going anywhere.
But
Speaking of,
Even if you don't like what I'm doing, like what we're doing, you're gonna know me one way or another.
Exactly. But the point I'm making, though, is the fact that you're trying to get people to come back to the comic book, game. Be like, hey man, just because they suck now doesn't mean ours do. And that's what a lot of what I guess you could say, you, Spork, Brian Ball, Carl Rowe, Ben Hennessy, all of them, Canales, definitely. All y'all are trying to put out the best work you can, so you can get people to come back to comics and see that there are things out there that are what you want, that are just stories, that aren't beating you over the head with anything, that are just giving you something to enjoy, and I guess you could say, think about something, because instead of it being propaganda, it's something actually it's an actual think piece that makes you want to think and go, huh?
actually,
Yeah, no, you propose an idea. That's how you get a conversation going.
Yeah.
Don't
that's
tell an idea.
actually kind of something interesting about that, is that Cody, Jack Irons is the comic that got me back into comics. So
Aw.
kudos to that.
Oh, no,
ever
just
since-
right there, the job's fucking done. Comic books to me. So the comic, I'll say it again and again. The comic series. There's 2 comic series that got me into comics. It was Ghost Rider and Punisher. They were 2 things I never thought, as a teenager or going into teens, I never thought was a thing. This fucking murderer, this absolute serial killer. You're rooting for him through hundreds of issues, and he's doing dark humor. He's doing really gnarly shit to people, and you still love Frank because he'll still run into that burning building and save that kid. That's, you don't see. A lot of action movies, you'll get that in an hour and a half, but then you're done.
Yeah.
I've been following Frank for fuck, what is it, 15 years now, and I've been reading back catalog, for fucking ever. So I've probably been following him with about 30 years, 40 years worth of material. And I still want more. Because of how creative you can be in comics that you can't do in film, and you can't really do in novelization. Because you got to leave a little too much to the reader's mind. You can't propose a very specific idea the same way, especially visually. You just can't do it.
You can, but it's tricky. You can take, for instance, Sin City. the only reason why the movie worked is because of the fact that they tried their best to keep it looking as close to the comic as possible.
Oh yeah, no, it can be done. I mean, there's good comic books. I wouldn't argue there, but again, it's not the same experience. You know, like we'll never see Frank fight the Sentry anywhere besides in fucking Dark Reign #1, Punisher Dark Reign, and that's him versus basically fucking Superman, a normal man trying to assassinate somebody stopped by a god. You know, that's a hell of a thing. He tricks the god and gets away. Those kind of stories, that old school mythology where there's these giant old themes, very old, very ancient themes of power, of gods, of thought forms, struggling against each other, interacting, this giant bit. Really, the public has lost interest in that, not because they have no interest, but because they stopped getting served it. So they don't know the fucking difference anymore between a steak and a burger, you know. it's just and so one of the big things with these indie comics is that a lot of the books, especially the ones that have done really, really good, have this extreme quality to them. They have some kind of something that you can't get anywhere else because the mainstream has become very homogenous. It's not doing a big variety of things anymore. It's doing the same thing in as many different ways as they can find, and it works. It's fine, but it's you know, somebody looks at it, it still looks, you know, it's still both beef. It's still the same fucking thing, and I think indie comics in particular have the option to do something. You know, independent film does something very similar. Painters. Independent art where it's coming from one source that's not really fucked with by the money usually ends up being something special, something to cherish, and that's what ends up usually becoming those big monoliths that then become soul suckers, but not always. And basically the comics are as an industry, I just, unless we start printing on hemp or something, we're gonna hit the tree issue eventually.
Oh yeah.
And then it's just gonna be
I'm
immoral to have paper comics. But
I'm all for printing on hemp.
I would think that'd be great personally. I think that would be shit. That's how you would do it.
Yeah.
But you got to find the right process to do that. And I ain't a chemist. But I know it's possible. They already do paper and do it on papyrus and such.
Right.
But nonetheless, so there's that. That's just a built-in wall for comics right there. And I mean, you can always put it digitally. They've been trying motion and voice-acted comics for like 2 decades. Those have never taken off to any significant amount, which is kind of sad because I too believe they have some potential. The
reason why they're so tricky is because of the fact that for a lot of us, like for me, I think they're a cool idea, but I would rather have my regular comic because I can get that monthly, like, I guess the best way to, well, maybe if you did release one for a good price, like, you know, once a month or something.
Well, I know the Japanese market with visual novels. They're usually a kind of a cheesy storyline. Those sell, and that's the next closest thing to like a motion comic. And I think that could work as a medium to express these kind of stories. But that would take very specific set of skills, very, very passionate team to pull off a comic-esque, superhero or just galactic, a big cosmos kind of storyline, something with a lot of gravity to it, and still make it visually interesting and then deliver consistently. As you're saying, there's a production on that scale is a lot more work than a comic, and as I found, a comic is quite a bit of work. So and that's why the movie is the same thing. That's why they're like, well, we get enough money for a TV show, then we'll film all of it and then release it.
Right.
I'm glad The Boys is doing so well. Garth Ennis deserves more mainstream attention. I'm super stoked about that. But there's a dying medium here with possibilities and potential that I don't want to see lost.
Dude, it's one of those. Take for instance, comics, if I remember right, comics went through a period like this, like the late 60s, early 70s, where they were not selling as good as they were, and they went stale and stagnant. I think we may be going through a period like that ourselves. We just have to... The reason why we're having problems and the root of our staleness and stagnation is different than theirs. For theirs, it was straight over capitalism. Like, they were being zany and whatnot. Like, for instance, Batman. They tried to make him like the Adam West TV show, and that almost killed Batman because people got really tired. Like, it was funny in short bits, but it didn't work as a monthly comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I hate to cut this off. I gotta get going, but I do have one question for Cody.
Yeah, sure.
The campaign.
Yes.
Is Cactus Coyote going to be in color?
Oh, there's a
'Cause
color
it says
page
it's
on the
the
campaign.
newsprint.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're going with newsprint to cut down the cost. It's the only way we can cut it from fucking a $25 entry fee to a $10 entry fee. But we one of our first stretch goals would be to upgrade to glossy paper. We haven't announced that just because we're nowhere near that. But if you want to see the colors, page 4 is colored. If you go down the campaign, colored by the incredible Stephen Cannon. He did issue number 2 of Jack, and he was able to differentiate the Jack style of his coloring and Cactus's style. It's a quite a different looking book. And also we have cover A colored. That's also him.
And I was curious about that. So which one, like, if I were to back it like next Friday or something, like, what would I pick to get the color version?
Oh, there's only going to be a colored version.
Oh, cool, great.
Yeah, no, anything you get's going to be colored. Black and white. I believe we are still actually having Andrea Boscolo do black and white inking after he finishes the regular inking. A bit heavier if you're black and white to add the shadows a bit more and less things the inker or not the inker the colorist has to do. But it should be color. Our goal again, even if we don't make this, is to have 8 completed pages done. It's a slightly self-contained storyline enough that you'll get a vibe of what we're doing. And if it doesn't work, then it goes in the anthology. But the most likely, no matter what, it's all gonna. So don't worry there.
And how many pages is Cactus Coyote?
Completed, our goal is 40.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's gonna be a
That's a big
fat
project.
book. Yeah, it's gonna be probably a 48-page book at the end of the day. 40 pages of story content is what I'm thinking he's going for.
Nice.
All
right.
Yeah. So thank you for your interest, man.
I am definitely interested. I gotta think this week there's another project that I was gonna back, and then next week I was like, oh man, I'm gonna do Cactus Coyote because I'll actually have the money to do it this time.
How cool! No worries. There's that's one of the things too. There's so many like I was talking about that cacophony. There's so many good ones too. Not just projects. Period. There's plenty of projects. Like there's actually good fucking work being done out there that I don't mind getting drowned out a little bit.
Anywho, I am gonna take off. I gotta get to a bed. I gotta wake up at 4 a.m. But thanks for having me on, Bob. I appreciate it a lot. It's been a while since I've been on a stream, so this was nice.
Definitely. Glad to have you on, Ty.
Talk to you guys. You guys are cool.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for coming, man, and take care. Have a good evening.
Definitely.
I do. Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right, Bob. Well, to get to 3, we got about 13 minutes. I haven't checked chat for a bit. Let me see if there's anything in there. Oh yeah, there's quite a few things. Oh boy, we have not been paying attention to chat.
I was about to say what Humble Marty had tagged me in saying the mainstream media is often the kitchen leftovers thrown down different ways through the slow cooker until soggy. Until soggy it feels like okay. And it's like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. The whiteness balances it out, so now you're starting to get the Gorgonite treatment, Bob.
Oh, I've been getting the Gorgonite treatment.
I bet. Let's see. This is why I call you Cowboy Mr. Rogers of Comics Twatter. You're too chill for people to try and shit on. I mean, they've tried, but I don't want to fight till I absolutely have to. So most of the time, they're not willing to do what they need to actually continue the fight. Wanpool. Glad to see Wanpool.
Definitely.
Come to us and we'll give it to you. That's a good quote, Gordon. I'll take that one.
Dirty.
Let's get distributing. Yeah, we were talking about alternative distribution. I am very excited for that going. He's talking mid next year maybe, so we'll see. I know Wicked is definitely listening. I'm avoiding overt contemporary political shit in my comic, like the fucking plague that's currently residing in California. Well, that's good for you, Gorgonite. I don't know. Yeah, contemporary political stuff. I'm more into the big ideas that spawn these small ideas. That's more what I like to explore. Smart does not equal pretentious narcissism. Well, yeah, it depends on who you're asking. Me, yes, I agree. It does not. Food for thought. If you cannot defeat a god with power, you can always defeat him with your wits. That's part of the my favorite bit about that issue of Punisher. If you can't, the fact that the human mind can overcome these very powerful things. Hemp comics, yeah, they probably do all right. Me is obviously, yep, that's what you read. I don't know what they'd look like. See, that's the thing. I don't know how ink lays on hemp. I would assume you'd have to really process it a proper way. But the point is, you can grow a harvest of that in a fucking year, and you'll be good. Instead of 150 years. so I think that would be a step in the right direction. They just got to refine it so it takes ink nicely.
Yep, and that's exactly why I'm all for that. For me, it makes sense as well. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you not go that route? You want to make it where your hobby can survive the times, then yeah, go the hemp route. Then you don't have to worry about when paper becomes illegal. You're already ahead of the curve. You're not having to...
Yeah, that's the thing. I would think they'd maybe want to take it to the point that paper's legal and then they start confiscating books, but I'm not going to get that far. I'm hoping full Fahrenheit 451, but you never know.
That's horrible. I would never want Fahrenheit 451. I wouldn't want any of these fucking...
No, the dystopian futures that have been guessed upon are all quite awful. Jackson... but... yeah, we're better than that. I think the part of the reason we explore those themes is to hopefully avoid taking those steps. And even though we take the walk that way, we're curious sons of bitches. At the end of the day, I think we stop short of walking over the cliff almost every time.
I hope so. Quite frankly,
it only takes one time, though. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
exactly. Looking over the edge, like, well, I'm just I don't want to go that way.
Exactly. That's the hope. Never know what the future's told, but can't tell you. I'll have more IRONVERSE comics if I have anything to say about it.
Right. Hey, the way I'm looking at it, with everything that's been going on within the realm of comics Twitter, the best thing I can say is get your comic book out, and let's hope Cactus Coyote gets funded, and let's hope that we're able to keep the momentum of good quality comics going. So we can't look at the mainstream, and when mainstream's like, we don't know why we're failing, well, maybe it's because of the quality of your comics? I mean, it's we're over here doing our own thing, and we're not having any issues. I'm just saying.
Well, yeah. I mean, not any issue would be great. But there's the fight again for readership these days. I don't know the ADD that's being developed into fucking kids in the future. And just the constant electronic stimulus. It's some spooky shit. I grew up in the '90s. Still had that. I grew up pre-internet, so that's a little bit. I didn't have internet till I was 17. I interacted with the internet, sure, but I didn't have it. Didn't have constant access to it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of saw here, 4-year-olds and stuff playing the game. I don't know. I'm not an old fuddy-duddy yet. I'm getting there. I'm not even 30 yet, but I can see the problems that are being developed. The that cruddy term, the sheeple, because they're always going to be more than sheep. It's just a rough gamble, a rough time to be born in. But not as rough as any before it. So, but it's a honestly, I hope there is some kind of subconscious rebellion against that, but it looks to be going the other way currently still, where people would rather interact. We're doing it right now, but at least via voice, not some text. And there's the disconnect. The humans never been more connected. They've never been more disconnected, and it's a hell of a thing to reconcile. Hell of a thing. And art is one of the ways to bridge that fucking divide. And comics is the way I choose to, because it has a very specific format to deliver those ideas to you that, say, film maybe can accomplish the same idea, but would have to do it. Same with it can maybe accomplish the same thing, but it would have to do it. This is the way I know how. This is the way I personally enjoy, and I know a lot of other people do too.
Yep.
And so letting it go isn't something I think we should do, but I also don't think there's any way it can stay how it's been since its inception. And I have no clue where it's pivoting, but I'm gonna try to be on that train.
And it maybe just ends up going to independence for the time being. And like I said, but I stand by the best idea. We need to get behind Alterna. Alterna will be our savior.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Even Samedi was. But there's a lot of good that can come out of that way. There's so many independent publishers out there.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody, if not Samedi, somebody else will find the path. And you just got to survive long enough for that to happen.
Oh, I guess.
One quick thing from chat. Humble Marty brought it back full circle. We're back to talking about hentai, apparently. Shimoneta, the anime Fahrenheit 451 of hentai, so there's also sex in it, so that's a trip. And then Gordon Knight said they'll have to take my paper books from my cold, dead hands, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to block. If it's gone that far, yes, sir, yes, they will be. But I don't think we'll get that far. Something else will something else, good or bad, will come before that point. But you never know. You never know.
That really is. I'm just kind of like, what?
Tell you they'll have to take. I don't need it. Anywho, about done. So if there's any questions in chat, real quick, you want me to cover, or you want Bob to cover before I gotta take off myself. I actually have ballooning tomorrow too. I forgot about that. So I do need to head to bed soon enough.
Oh.
And did a 3-hour stream, so that's pretty good.
Hey, definitely.
Yeah, thank you again, Bob, for having me.
Hey, when I saw you on the other night, and you were talking about everything going on, the final success of having everything that you were trying to have. You know what I mean? With Jack Iron comic, because I remember when we did that like all night stream until.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh,
that was fun, man. It was $, and fucking Slick stuck it out the full 8.5 before YouTube booted us. That was fun. That was fun. No, there's I don't know what it was, but there was quite a bit of good energy at that time for creation and for indie comics, and it wasn't so drowned out as it is recently, and I'm happy to be able to come back and put that forward. I guess I'll go and shill my own channel, IRONVERSE Comics. Please go ahead and subscribe. I'm trying to do videos. Oh, I have for like the last 3 months. I've done a video every Friday. That's date. I missed one Friday, did it on a Saturday. Sorry. So I'll be doing another one tomorrow. No, actually, no. I'll be on Wicked Publishing's channel tomorrow at my normal time slot for my update. So I'm going to do a Saturday night, this week. But so you can catch me, and hopefully Dollar Coins will actually be there via voice chat. So it will be one of the first times, if maybe the only time, you'll get to ask and hear straight from Dollar Coins himself about Cactus Coyote. That'll be a hell of a thing. I'm very curious how that goes. It should be his first stream, and. But no, you could sub to me and catch me Saturday. Sub to Wicked, catch me tomorrow. And of course, sub to a nerd and over 30. Like this video if you enjoyed anything I had to say, Bob had to say, Ty had to say, Spork had to say, or just the camaraderie, or want to support indie comics. There's a lot of angles. There's a lot of reasons to press that thumbs up, folks.
Definitely.
Don't forget to.
Definitely. Real talk, yo. Real talk. But alright, and with that, as always folks, I'm your host Bob Jones, and it was definitely fun having y'all here, and with that I bid y'all adieu.